away we go. Green, 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 says the driver there. And Shami Azri's had a fantastic start, but so has Mika Hakimi. Coming down towards turn 1 there, you can see a couple of guys getting 2 wide, 3 wide there. Jay Wong picks up a position there, battling with Mohammad Zikri there, and Ayman Zubair dives up on the inside, hard on the brakes there, and they go very close to each other, side by side, coming out the corner there. It's a drag race coming up to the next right-hander. Who's going to take it there? Hard on the brakes there. Looks like Simon Sanchez has the inside line. Can Iman do anything around the outside? A lot closer than usual, but Mika Hakimi comes across the line to cement his lead in the championship. Your round 5 winner here at Motegi, Mika Hakimi, followed by Shami Azri, and you can tell he is absolutely delighted by that. He had to drive brilliantly, perfectly to get that win. So there, the third place man really pushing very hard indeed. That's Shami Aizan there. Han An tries to get around the outside there, or around the inside rather, and he manages to get past James Russell. Brilliant maneuver there. James defending very hard around the outside now. He has the inside line for the next corner there, and he manages to close off the attack from Shami Aizan, looking very racy behind him. Just as interesting watching these battles at the back of the field as it is at the front, and they are racing just as hard. I believe you me, hard on the brakes there, almost touching there. This is BTCC levels of contact and fantastic defending there. Alif Shauki had to do absolutely everything there, and I don't think Fred Singh really liked that too much. So there's the BTCC kiss, and that's brought the Munfai back up through the field there. They've been racing like this since the start of the race. Meanwhile, James Russell is right behind Han An, and that is a Jensen Chu there being lapped by both drivers there, and that's given a huge advantage there to James Russell. It's only 1/10 of a second between the two of them. Hard on the brakes. Is James going to be able to get through past there? They touch going around the inside of the corner there. James Russell, unbelievable overtaking maneuver there.
LamboPlace.
Dalam ini cerita. Oh, sedap pergi dia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to the final round of the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. We are at the 2.4 hours of Sebring, and this is going to be a fantastic race. We've brought the Pro and Am drivers together, TCR and the Porsches, running on the same track for 2 hours and 25 minutes. It's going to be a fantastic way to end this series. I'm your host for this evening, Max Palmer. With me in the studio is Inche Budi.
So Max, 2.4 hours of Sebring, Max. This is gonna be a big hit.
Absolutely. The track is legendary. It's been used since the 50s for endurance racing. We've got legends all the way from Jim Clark to Mario Andretti to all of the legends all around the world racing around here. It's one of the pillars of the World Endurance Championship, and it has been on the World Championship calendar since the 60s.
Well, Max, we have seen 24 hours of Sebring, 12 hours of Sebring, 8 hours of Sebring, 4 hours of Sebring, and now today we have 2.4 hours of Sebring. It's about 2 hours and 35 minutes.
2 hours and 25 minutes of action. A relative sprint in the grand scheme of things when it comes to Sebring International Circuit. But it's a fairly long track as well. Based on an old disused airfield that used to be active all the way up to the 80s, and in fact there are several times where they've actually had to wave the red flag in order for aircraft to perform emergency landings.
Yeah, I've heard about that, and that was really something weird, I would say. That was really weird. You have to wave the red flag just to let an emergency landings there. Yeah.
It's pretty spectacular stuff indeed. Before we go any further into the broadcast, just gives us just enough time to thank our sponsors. Aiman Zubir says, all the best semua pelumba. Chayo.
Chayo. Yeah. It's Jayu.
Yeah.
It's Jayu, not Chayo.
Jayu. Okay, so let's just give us enough time here to thank our sponsors. A special thanks goes out to our main sponsors, LamboPlace. With their 5G guarantee, you won't go too far wrong. Our co-sponsors are Stratus and Excitix, this event being organised by Trumpet, Adrenaline Impacted Vertex Esports, along with our media partners Galeri Kereta and DSNF.
And don't forget our official 2022 gaming chair.
Yeah.
I want to say the gaming racing seat.
It always is though. It's got the holes, it's got everything else, it's got the side support there. You could use this on the rig, I reckon.
Well, it works.
Yeah.
If you want to use it on rigs, we might try.
Yeah. So there you go. This is the this is the Toda Zorhud, right?
Yeah, Toda Zuhud.
Yeah. Brilliant chairs there, courtesy of Todat. Thank you so much to all the Todat guys who have sponsored us for this season. But there we have it. Of course, we have this legendary racetrack. I believe it's over 7 kilometers long here at Sebring International Raceway. Again, 2 very famous events on the calendar, the IMSA 12-hour race, as well as the 1,000-kilometer World Endurance Championship round. Here, this track has seen everything from drum brake Mercedes race cars all the way up to the Audi e-tron Quattros, the LMP1 cars.
Oh, that was a really big information. Actually, well, when it comes to the old Mercedes drum brake,
it takes some stopping.
I was like, wow, that's quite long.
Yeah, and of course, it's the only mixed surface race on the calendar. It is partially held on concrete and partially held on tarmac, so that's going to catch some of the drivers out. Of course, we have to talk about the championship prize pool. This is what all the drivers have been racing for all throughout the championship, and it's all going to get decided here at the endurance race. In the pro class, we have a total of 6,000 ringgit up for grabs. First place takes home 3,000 ringgit, followed by 2,000 ringgit in P2 and 1,000 ringgit in P3.
And on the AM class, we have the total prize pool of 4,000 ringgit, which is the P1 takes 2,000 ringgit, the P2 takes 1,200 ringgit, and the P3 will bring home 800 ringgit. This is actually a big prize pool, Max.
Absolutely, and it's got all the drivers really fighting for it right now. In our Pro Class Top 10 standings, we can confirm that we know who is going to take home that money provisionally, of course. And that is Mika Hakimi, who is in first position with a total of 110 points there. Shami Azri is in second place, 30 points behind, but he's got to look over his shoulder just a little bit there, because I believe that's 8 points behind is Kelvinder Singh. So that podium position, the second and third place, still up for grabs theoretically.
Yeah, they were still fighting for position right now. Well, Kelvinder, he might drive with two drivers in this, because this is an endurance race, so you can group up with your teammates.
Yes, these drivers will have the option of racing alone for the entire 2 hour and 25 minutes, or they can take on a teammate from the series as well. We've just been getting notes from our pit lane correspondent Umar Aziz there. The average speed of the Porsches is around the 2-minute mark, which is really quick around Sebring. And the average pace for TCR is around 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Wow,
so
that was a 15 minutes gap. A 15-second gap. So not 15 minutes. Yeah, that was a 15-second gap, and that is quite a large gap, Max.
Yeah, absolutely. For every lap, for every 7 kilometers or so, quite a big deal. But around the AM class categories here, of course, we still have the championship is still technically open there. Han An still has a chance of catching our championship leader, James Russell, who is coming from an undisclosed location in Europe. He is off there doing his normal day-to-day motorsports activities off in Europe right now. So he's actually borrowed a sim in order to try and race in this final race of the season.
And we still have Han An on the second place, and Shame Aizan. All the three races are actually quite close in terms of the point gap, and they was actually fighting for the prize pool right now.
Absolutely. So it's all to play for right now between James Russell, Han An and Shame Aizan when it comes to the money positions here at the AM class. And it's all going to get decided in this race. And we're all very, very excited to see where we're going to head on down now. So we're going to head off down to Sebring right now. We've got our cameras nice and warmed up, and we're going to head down to the track surface with qualifying currently in progress. We'll give you a few more moments there. I believe the internet connection, I think someone forgot to turn on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that is a common issue there. Oh, here we go.
It's a little bit further, of course, because Sebring is all the way in Florida, which is on the east coast of the United States. It's almost completely the opposite side of the world from where we are now. So good stuff to be able to get through there. The track length is 5.79 kilometers long in this modern configuration. As you can see there, the two parallel runways make up the start and finish straight and the back straight of the circuit. At a nice balmy 29 degrees Celsius out there. It's a nice warm, almost subtropical temperature and weather down there.
Well, if you drive here, Max, I would say I've tried driving here before. The runway, the runoff course, the runoff area of this track is actually quite a bit big, and it's hard to see either this is the actual track or the runoff area.
Absolutely. This track, of course, made in the traditional European style of aircraft tracks. It's very British in its layout. It does include some of the runway, as we mentioned, but it also uses the access roads and the taxiways of the racetrack, just like Silverstone does in the UK. And you can see there where they've literally tarmacked over some of the concrete there, but you still have to deal with a car that will handle very differently on concrete than it does on tarmac. It's two very different surfaces. They affect the tire very differently. You have a bit more lateral grip on concrete, but you don't have the traction. Whereas on tarmac, the car wants to slide around a little bit more, but you do have the traction coming out of the corners. So that's going to be very difficult to set up for all of these drivers. And as you can notice, we have both drivers out on track, both classes out on track right now, because it will be a multi-class race. The Porsches will be sharing a track with all the TCR cars.
So you can see the difference between all the Porsche up in front with Mika Hakimi, Jae Chong, Jae Wong, Shami Azri, Aiman Zubair, Simon Sanchez, Iman Danish, Neveski Chen, Pavinder Singh, Miss Muhammad Taki, and the last one is Muhammad Taki actually. Yeah. And for the AM class, we have James Russell, Mavinder Jit Singh, Han An, Shami Aizan, Wan Likui, Muhammad Alif Shoki, Jeffrey Kon, and Wong Jian.
Yes, and of course, some of those drivers will also be sharing their drive with some of the other drivers there.
yeah.
So if you haven't seen your favorite drivers' names, do watch out for the first round of pit stops, because I think there'll be quite a few drivers they'll be swapping in right now. Kelvin T says, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. And the URT guys having a very special good luck message to their drivers, Jay Chong and James Russell. And there we go. There, Muazzam Zairi there saying, let's go Jay Wong and William Wong, the Wong duo out on track right now.
Yo, Gascon. Okay, we know that something bad happened to his rig, so he can't join us.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate when you're taken out by a mechanical situation just before the start of the race. But so much of racing is like that. You know, sometimes you just try, but you can't make it. But in any case there, hopefully we'll be able to see him in the next season. It was great fun watching him try his best out around the track there.
Yes, correct, Max. And Umar Aziz update us and saying that track management and pit strategy is really, really important in this situation where we have a full 2.4 hours race, and I don't think the fuel and the tires will hold that long.
Absolutely not. So they're going to have to change fuel, and they're going to have to change tires at least once in the case of the TCRs, maybe a bit more. Maybe a couple more times there, but that's going to be absolutely critical. You can try and make them last, but you lose time doing so. So is it worth it? That's going to be the question that they're going to be asking. And yeah, this may be a 2 hour 25-minute race, but it's all the same techniques you need for a 12-hour race, 1,000 kilometers, or a 24-hour race.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier regarding that most of the drivers here are actually experienced in terms of racing in endurance kind of series. So like Mika Hakimi, Shami Azri, Simon Sanchez, Iman Danish, Mavinder Singh, Mavinderjit Singh, a lot of them are actually experienced the endurance race before. So we know that they have their own strategy and skills, you know, to tackle the endurance kind of things.
Absolutely there. Mika Hakimi now hot lapping out on track right now, trying to get his times down. He's the fastest man out on track, 2 minutes flat, 0.108. Jay Chong is in second place, 2 minutes flat as well. And we have the top 4 at 2 minutes flat at the moment there. And I'm sure some of them will be trying to break that 2-minute barrier. It is a fairly long track. It's longer than Sepang, but it is the average speed is quite high here. You've only got a couple of big braking zones and a lot of high-speed sections where you're literally taking the car, throwing it off the tarmac and onto the concrete just to try and get a better racing line through the corners.
That was the actual crucial part of this track. When you have a very high-speed kind of section, you will kind of off guard or get loose to it. Where is the actual braking position? That is actually crucial in this race, where people forget, this might be the best braking position or not.
Yeah. It could be very, very difficult indeed. So we saw Mika Hakimi, our pro class sort of champion-elect at this point. He's our provisional champion for the series, but he wants to go out on a high. He wants to win that. I'm sure he'll want to win the final race of the season there. Meanwhile, James Russell is out in AM right now, and he's leading that category. He's on provisional pole for that category with a 2:15.646, and the top 3 right now in 2:15s at the moment. He is in first, followed by Malvidijit Singh and Han An second and third. Mazdi Mardini now manages to get his car out on track to get some laps in there. That's part of the Mean Machines crew.
Yeah, Malvinderjit Singh, Max. Wow, he in second place. I bet he loves Sebring so much that he can put that kind of time.
Absolutely. But of course, qualifying might be important for the first few laps of the race, but in an endurance race like this, really you don't want to be putting the car through too much stress. You really don't want to be throwing it off the road right now. They're just going to do those laps, make sure they're on the grid and qualified in time to start the race right now.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot. In endurance race, the most important thing for you to finish. Mm-hmm. If you can't finish, so there is no use of endurance. Yeah. So the idea is actually surviving the race itself. You are not racing with other people, The other people's is just your contender, but you are racing with your own pace and strategy right now.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, where's all the Hyperball fan base at? We know all of you guys, we've got a huge fan base right now out here racing around the track there. We've got quite a few of their drivers in the championship. I believe they are sharing their drives at the moment. Right now, Malvinderjit Singh and Shami Aizan are out on track there, but I'm sure we'll see more of them as we go through the course of this race. Remember, if your favorite driver isn't racing at this point, it's probably because he is going to drive in as a relief or a co-driver for one of the drivers who are starting the cars this evening. But brilliant stuff indeed there. Our pit lane correspondent Umar Aziz reports that iRacing could go up to 60 races for endurance racing on tracks like these.
Well, if it is an endurance, it is a multi-class. 24 racer is already a very scary things to me. 60 races, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of things.
And you have to remember, when it comes to the endurance racing here on iRacing, it's 60 drivers out on track in 3 or 4 different classes depending on the championship.
Oh, that was so scary, Max. Yeah, we have different kind of class, which is we have the endurance, GT endurance, GTE, and then we have the GT3, the LMP1, and PCR, all 4 classes in the same track and the same position.
Yep.
It is really scary.
And when you go to IMSA racing, you get to add the GT3 cars in as well, which really complicates things, and the LMDH cars as well. Fastest lap so far, Jay Chong, who's managed to get the pole position right now. We're having a look at the replay as he goes through. That was the first corner there, diving down through onto this patchwork of tarmac and concrete. The concrete laid in there just to sort of repair the road. And now coming down towards the tarmac section and onto this back straight here. Really long. You could see the surface changes that they have to deal with. The cars constantly gripping and slipping as they go through.
Yeah, balance is very important setup right now. It's not about just going fast.
Absolutely. So now let's have a look at the overall grid there. Jay Chong is in first position, followed by Mika Hakimi and Shami Azri. Jay Wong, meanwhile, is in fourth position, followed by Iman Danish, Ayman Zubair, Simon Sanchez, Pagvinder Singh, Nevsky Chin, Mohammad Taki, and Mazdi Mardini.
And for the EM class, we have James Russell, Mavinderjit Singh, Han An, Shami Aizan, Wan Li Kui, William Wong, Muhammad Alif Shauki, Jeffrey Kon, Wong Jian, Leong Moon 5 for the 21st place.
Absolutely. There we go. This is going to be a very exciting start to the race. Of course, as with all endurance racing nowadays, we will be having a rolling start, and I believe they are going to do a short rolling start procedure through the back half of the field. Back half of the track. They're on the back straight right now. They've only got Sunset Bend to try and get some temperature in the tires, and they're going to be off. This is going to be very exciting stuff, especially coming into that first corner, because it narrows down dramatically.
Yeah, Max. And we will see who's faster in terms of first lap. Because we want to see that who can drive away from those packs.
Yeah, and also what the other thing is as well, as the URT gang says, get in there, James and Jay, P1 baby.
Yeah.
We're on board there with Iman Danish, who's in one of the Hyperbull's Porsches there, sitting out on track, getting ready to go, getting the last bit of drink there from his drinks bottle, and just getting himself psyched up, as will all the other drivers will be. All the cars have taken the grid now, and they're going to start rolling down towards that sunset bend and towards the start-finish straight.
There we go. This is the 2 straight.
Yeah, coming around that sunset bend. Let's see who's going to come out on top at the start of the race here. Who's going to come out behind? Looks like Jay Chong is holding back the entire field right now. You can see the cars really bunched up behind Jay Chong right now. He's going to wait until the last possible moment, and then he's off. Green flag is go, and he is away. And that is a brilliant bit of brinksmanship there from Jay Jae Chong. He's got Mika Kimi and Iman Danish going alongside them, but Jae Chong's in first, Mika is in second, Iman is in third. Meanwhile, the TCR cars are off as well. Alif Shauki managing to get himself up into the third position right now. James Russell there really struggling hard there, but Jeffrey Conn had a fantastic start there. He's up into 11th overall, first in class. Meanwhile, we're going side by side there. Looks like that's Roy Charles, Bhagwinder Singh going side by side with Simon Sanchez, not able to make that overtaking maneuver stick, and now he's under a lot of pressure there from Ayman Zubair behind him, as well as another one of the Hyperbulls cars. Ooh, big touch there, hard on the brakes there. Let's see if he can get through there. Jay Wong just almost managing to overtake Bhagwinder Singh almost managing to overtake Jay Wong there. Meanwhile, James Russell barely able to try and go around the outside of Jeffrey Conn there. He's still in the lead of the race so far. Hard on the throttle going onto the back straight there. They go side by side, but it looks like James Russell manages to get his nose ahead. Will Jeffrey Conn be able to overtake him coming down towards the braking zone here? This is absolutely amazing stuff there. And around the outside, James Russell manages to get home in first position there. Brilliant stuff.
Wow, Max, that maneuver was actually really good. Jeffrey Conn was actually braking a little bit earlier just to make sure that he can manage to grip, to hold to that apex, but James Russell, he just doesn't care about it. He just go with it.
Yeah, on cold tyres to try and go around the outside there is a brave maneuver. And he's not even on his usual equipment as well. That's what you got to remember. He's on borrowed sim racing equipment at this point. Kelvin T says, Jay, the lonely driver, you are not alone. Go, go, go. And yes, that is Jay Wong there in 6th position, who is pushing very hard indeed. He's managed to get himself a couple of positions there. Simon Sanchez also doing very well in 5th place. We're still looking at the battle in the TCR category right now. Han An, one of the championship contenders there, and perhaps the man best placed to try and knock James Russell off the top perch there. He's trying to go around the outside of one of the Hyperbulls cars there, and he does a fantastic job trying to hang it around the outside of Shame Aizan, and that's a brilliant maneuver there. That is fantastic stuff indeed. Wan Li Kui now, he's in 16th place. Let's see if he can actually try something on Shame Aizan. He looks in on the inside, but he decides not to go for it through this corner here. You can see one of the cones there actually ending up on the debris fencing. That's quite spectacular driving there at the start of the race there, and it looks like Han An's able to actually get through that other Hyperbulls car there. So that's another Hyperbulls car down. And it looks like Han An is a man on the mission. He needs to overtake James Russell, and he needs to be in first position really for any chance of winning the championship.
Yeah, if James Russell get hold into that position for quite a while, I think he might lose Han An behind. And right now between Jae Chong and Mika Hakimi, they are still fighting, and we have seen a really long train for the AM class and the Pro class on the second lap of this race. Remember guys, this is a 2 hours and 25 minutes or 2.4 hours race. This is not like 10 lap race, okay?
Yeah, absolutely, but they are driving like typical touring car drivers. I think you just cannot stop them from driving in that typical touring car style. They're very close to each other right now. Shame Aizan is all over the back of Wan Li Kui, who's managed to get past him earlier on there, but you can see there's Jeffrey Conn, who had a fantastic start, but he's dropped down a couple of positions since the start of the race there, going through lap 2 right now, and he's being swamped there a little bit. Let's see if Wan Li Kui can do something around the outside here. Can he do it around the outside? Not quite able to carry the speed, but it will switch back towards his favor. He's going to use all of the track to try and get around him. They're still side by side. This is absolutely brilliant racing right now, and Wan Li Kui managing to take on that position, and Shame Aizan follows along just to try and get another position there. Fantastic stuff indeed. Oh no, that's Bhagwinder Singh. That is Roy Charles in the barrier. That's going to be terrible news for him to try and make it to the end of the race. He still has a chance though. 2 hours 25 minutes, anything can happen, so he should head into the pits. Meanwhile, Shame Aizan putting himself in some serious conditions there. Looks like Bhagwinder Singh meanwhile on this replay, he just got the car sideways.
That was an ouch. He can't catch that drift.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really hard in that kind of surface.
Yeah. Once you do break traction on concrete, you really are chasing the car all across the racetrack just to try and keep it under control. Jay Wong, meanwhile, he's managed to get himself up into 8th place there, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Ayman Zubair at the moment in 7th place there. And I think he might be looking for a way around. Will he be thinking of those touring cars? Can he head around the track? Right around now. Ooh, he's clipped the grass and he's got the car sideways there, just about managing to hold it from a full spin, but that has cost Jay Wong quite a lot of time there, and that is Nevsky Chin behind him, who's looking for a way past. If he's not careful there, Jay Wong's going to lose another position. Nevsky Chin goes around the outside of the corner there, and he might be able to hang it in there on the inside, but Jay Wong carries the speed into the corner there. He does run a little bit wide though, but Nevsky also not quite able to catch up again. He's going to need a few more corners to try and overtake Jay there. Unbelievable stuff there. That was very dramatic stuff indeed.
Jay was really pushing hard this car, and he know that one simple mistake will make him pay for it. And this is 2.4 hours. So this is only 4th lap max. It's 6 minutes in the race. So close racing. Is this a sprint race or enduro? From a person who loved touring car race, I would say TCR, even in endurance, they race like a sprint.
Absolutely, always the case there. I believe we are actually starting to see traffic. Oh no, we haven't quite seen traffic appear there. But yeah, unbelievable stuff from all the drivers here. Meanwhile, just away from camera there, Han An's actually managed to weasel his way all the way up into 2nd place in the TCR category right now. He's overtaken 3-4 cars since the start of the race there. So he's a man on a mission. He needs to win this race in order to try and have any chance of winning the championship. And I think he's got the pace to do it.
Yeah, Max. And he is 3-second gap behind James Russell. Well, it's still early to say, because 3 seconds behind, you still can make it with a good pit strategies and a good tire management and so track management and so on. Simon Sanchez now trying to make a move in with Shami Azri, and he managed to hold on to that position. Mika Hakimi on the other side, Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish is actually still fighting close.
Absolutely, and they're very close to the leader of the race, Jay Chong. Meanwhile, in the lead, Lester Neo there saying, "Go Jay, send it," and he absolutely is going to put that foot flat to the floor. We know how good Jay Chong can be in an endurance racing situation, so this could be good for the team there. Simon Sanchez, meanwhile, he is pushing very hard there. Shami Azri throwing that Porsche around almost like a rally car in his attempts to try and catch him. Meanwhile, Iman Danish is very close to the back of Mika Hakimi. They've been battling quite a bit throughout the course of this season, and I think they've just rekindled their battle right now. Iman Danish, they're very pensive looking in the car right now as he goes through the corner. You can see how smoothly he's trying to steer that car, but no matter how smoothly you go, the back end is going to kick out. A Porsche is quite difficult to drive around Sebring, even though they have won this race about 8 times with the 911, but it is a very, very difficult car to drive around here. And you can see there's some places on the track where Iman can just really get close to the back of Mika Hakimi, and there's some places where Mika can just get the drive coming out the corner there. I think this is going to be a real yo-yo battle.
Max, you can see how scary this track is. That's so bumpy. That was like bump all over the place, and you know how hard it is to counter steer when the bumps take place.
Oh yeah, even in rallying on a tarmac rally, it's super difficult to try and keep the car in control when the road is doing anything but go straight.
It's really hard. And now, there you go. A really closing gap. The gap get close and close between Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi there. Just 0.3 seconds behind. 3 over 10 second behind, and it is really good. He has been keeping on that pace since the first lap, Max.
Absolutely, and you can see where they're gaining and losing time comparison to each other. Iman Danish can really stop that Porsche. He's managed to get those brakes working perfectly around here. Even with Mika Hakimi and his habit of changing the brake bias throughout the course of the lap, it looks like Iman Danish is able to close up quite a lot when it comes to the braking zones, but Mika has the drive coming out of the corners there. I think he's slowing up his entry in order to get a good exit, and it'll be interesting to see which driving technique would actually be better on the tyres. I think with the Porsches, it's going to be a battle of who can look after the tyres throughout the course of this battling, but right now at this moment, I don't think these drivers are going to do anything there. Looks like Iman Danish is going to try. on the inside of the corner through Sunset Bend. It's going to be very challenging to keep the car on a straight line there. Mika Hakimi throwing the car towards the outside of the corner. He now ducks into the inside there. Iman Danish defends, coming down towards the braking zone here, but looks like Mika is able to drive that car around the outside. Will he be able to do anything here? Iman Danish keeping the car on the inside there. What a slide there from Mika Hakimi. Brilliant bit of car control, but unfortunately that lost him just a little bit of time, and that's given the position there to Iman Danish. What an overtaking maneuver there. That caught everyone by surprise, including us in the booth.
Wow. That was a good maneuver by Iman Danish there. That was a really brave move, and he managed to stop Mika Hakimi from overtaking him. And Mika Hakimi just caught off guard on that section just now.
Absolutely, and now the tide has turned and the tables have turned right now. You can see Iman is doing everything he possibly can to try and drive away from Mika Hakimi, but now Mika has the advantage because he can see where he's gaining and losing in comparison to Iman Danish. And it looks like he's going to be fairly close coming through this section here. And Jae Chong would be relishing this because he is out in front. And as you know, when you're battling, when you start moving around, defending, trying to go for an overtake, forcing the other driver wide, that's when you slow this little battle down. And that's given Jae Chong a chance. 2.5 seconds now, the gap between Jae Chong and Iman Danish at the moment. Meanwhile, Shame Aizan there racing with Malvinderjit Singh. Remember, these guys, they don't understand the concept of team tactics. They are going to battle with each other for as much as possible. Shame Aizan there just about managed to keep that car ahead. Brilliant stuff.
That was not a good move. Wow, Iman Danish managed to pull away from Mika Hakimi. Quite a big gap over there. 0.7 second. That was really good in the first lap of heading towards Jae Chong, and 2.5 second gap to Jae Chong. This is really hard. In this race, the tire management is really a big role, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at this move on with Jeffrey Conn there, hanging it on the inside. Alif Shauki running the car out wide just to try and find a way past, but unfortunately not able to do anything through there. They're having some fun there, and I think Jeffrey Conn, well, he probably would be wanting to have fun. He just wants to sit there and do the laps and run the laps off and have this fun at the end of the race. But sometimes you just got to race where you race.
Dude, Jeffrey Kong really hugged that wall. He literally hugged that wall, and it was like, no, this is my wall. You go away from this.
Sharon Norafut Index says, go Hyperbull Esports racing team. We know we've got a lot of Hyperbull supporters out there, and I think they're going to be cheering them on. Another driver that's going to be cheered on quite a bit, Shami Azri, has his quite a few fans out there as well, but so does Simon Sanchez and Muhammad Taki. This three-way battle for fourth position is really hotting up right now. They're 3 seconds behind the battle for second position right now, and looks like this battle could go supernova fairly soon.
Simon Sanchez is still trying to get Shami Azri. This has been more than 4 laps they have been fighting together, and Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish still the gap getting further and further away.
Indeed it has, but slowly as the kilometers sort of tick down, it's remains to be seen if they can hold this pace while looking after the cars and keeping the cars going.
That is the scary thing, like when you try to push away from your opponents, right? You will forget your tire management, your track management, your fuel management. You forget everything because you're focusing. Okay, I need to get away from this guy. You know, it's really hard.
Absolutely. Another thing that's going to really upset the apple cart when it comes to these battles with the Porsche class this evening is going to be traffic. And as you can see from the race map on the right hand side of your screen there, the Porsche drivers are slowly but surely catching up to the TCR drivers. And that's going to be quite interesting because there's a couple of really close battles in TCR, and there's a couple of really close battles like this one here with Muhammad Taki. Brilliant maneuver there, just sliding it on the inside of Simon Sanchez and keeping himself up in the lead of the race. Almost didn't notice it. That was too smooth.
Taki make it like that is not my problem. It's really easy to do this. You know? Taki make everything look easy.
That's the thing, when you're really close to someone, all it takes is one mistake at that Sunset Junction, that final corner of the track, that Sunset Bend as it's known. And the reason, incidentally, why they call the final corner of the track Sunset Bend is because it goes around 180 degrees. It always catches your eye.
Yeah.
The sundown always catches your eyes, and the sunrise as well.
Well, Max, we have been driving with sun down and up, and we know how hard it is when you are driving with sun on your face straight.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at Jeffrey Conn at the restart here. And he did seem to have a fantastic start because he was out at the back of the field at the moment. He's firing the car around the outside of the corner. He's trying to build up boost in that Hyundai, running it around the outside of the corner there. And as you can see, it is already green flag running right now. And he just manages to find his way around it. You can see the green flag on the starters match. And what a start indeed. He's managed to overtake the entire field coming down to turn one. Brilliant stuff indeed from Jeffrey Conn, and he's managed to hold it up against the best there and hang on the inside of James Russell. Unbelievable stuff there, and he's managed to claim that apex as well. Brilliant stuff indeed.
Wow, that was a brilliant move, a brilliant strategy from the start, and it is really good.
Yeah, brilliant stuff indeed.
Oh my god, we need to see that again. I love that.
That was one of those things where sometimes it's better to be a little bit cheeky and a little bit wily than it is to be good in motor racing, because sometimes you've just got to look at a situation ahead of you and go, they're really slow up ahead. I'm just going to fire up towards. This is a very Mohiman start.
Yeah. He make it looks like, oh, I make a mistake. Then suddenly he push his way through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 car just like that.
So yeah, there we go. Now we've already caught up with traffic at this point in time, and this is where the difficulties are going to start for a lot of the drivers there. You can see there that this could break up a motor race, or it could actually create battles as they come up towards these cars here. It's 15 seconds a lap quicker these Porsches are compared to the TCR touring cars. And coming up towards the back then, it could be a little bit tricky. And as Umar Aziz was saying, that some of the AM guys might be a little bit less experienced in endurance racing. There might be a few hairy moments as these Porsches come up. And it's a very difficult track to actually pull this off because it's very narrow in places. Like here, he's having some difficulty to try and get around it. I believe that is pretty hard around through in there. They just have to find a slot, find a way to go past there. I believe that's actually William Wong. I do apologize. But a brilliant bit of racing there just to try and get their way around it. But it's up to the faster drivers to find a way around the slower drivers. That's the rule, the golden rule in endurance racing. So the slower drivers have to hold their line and hold their nerve while these really quick Porsches go past. Oh, there's a big incident further behind there. We were just talking about it. I'm not too sure who that was. I think it was Ayman Zubair who's come off the track there. That was William Wong who got involved in that incident. We'll try and get a replay for you, but that looked fairly eventful there. We'll have a look there. That's Ayman Zubair trying to go up and lap William Wong. William goes very wide there. I think he's clipped the grass, and a little bit of net code and a little bit too much speed going to the corner there. That sent Ayman Zubair on a wild ride.
Well, Max, that got me. I lost my word there. Well, it's really hard to make a good maneuver here. Now Simon Sanchez is trying to get Shami Azri. Wow. Now we got the traffic in front, and
when you're battling like this, I mean, I have a little bit of experience with this endurance racing stuff, and when you're in a quicker car and you're battling and you find the slower cars up ahead, especially if you find a train of 4 or 5 of them, you really have to start thinking very quickly as to how to get past. And it's a lot of it is just a big dose of mustn't be too hasty there. Oh, very close there. I think Shami Azri was caught a little bit by surprise by that Hyundai getting a bit of a twitch on one of the Hyperbool cars there. I believe that was Malvinderjit Singh, but they do manage to get through there relatively easily. The next car up is, I believe, Wan Li Kui. Beautiful job to get themselves past and still battling with each other. But that just goes to show what the difficulty is going to be during the course of this race.
Yeah, like Umar Aziz said earlier, they just need to stay in their line. The AM guy just need to stay there, and the Porsche guy will find a way to get past them. That is their job.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned before. It's the quicker driver's job to get past the slower drivers. So, like I was saying, so these guys, all they've got to do in the TCRs when these quick guys come ahead is just hang on to their line and hang on to their nerves, because it is quite scary to get a big overtaking maneuver there. Simon Sanchez dives in on the inside of our AM race leader, and that is a beautiful maneuver to try and get past there without impeding each and other, but that means that Simon Sanchez is within striking distance of Shami Azri right now. Shami tries to defend on the inside. He's now gone back out to the outside there, but can Simon do something around the outside of the corner here? It's Sunset Bend. He's going to try and force him around the inside. All Shami has to do is hang on the inside, but he's not able to do it, and it looks like Simon Sanchez is going to go down side by side towards turn 1. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Simon Sanchez or Shami Azri? Hard on the brakes now, and it looks like Simon's going to fire it around the outside. He's carried a lot of speed there, but Shami Azri managing to hang on to that inside wall. He's hugging that inside wall as tight as he possibly can there, and that means that Shami Azri is able to keep that Porsche where it needs to be. Brilliant bit of defensive driving there.
Simon Sanchez do a great job there, but Shami Azri with a little bit slide on the Sunset Bend just now, but he managed to make sure that Simon doesn't have any way to get past him. That was a really brilliant move and a good defensive maneuver by Shami Azri.
Yeah, meanwhile, just noticed that Mika Hakimi has in fact re-overtaken Iman Danish right now in the battle for second and third place. So while we're watching this battle, and we're going to see if we can get that instant replay happening here. Let's have a look at Mika Hakimi trying to look way around the outside there. Iman Danish couldn't quite make it work, and that's a brilliant use of the traffic. Mika was able to just block Iman Danish behind that slow-moving TCR car. Now, of course, it's not James Russell's fault. I can assure you he has his foot flat to the floor there, but when you've only got 300 horsepower and the car behind you has 600 horsepower, it can be a little bit different there. But that was a brilliant piece of traffic awareness there, just to box in Iman Danish behind the slower car and overtake both of them. Brilliant stuff.
Mika Hakimi used to play chess on 300 kilometers per hour, max. So
I think this is more like 4D chess at this point. Race Control has said that there's... So we're just going to have a look there. Race Control has said that lap 8 incident between car 27 and car 20 is under investigation at the moment. So we'll have a look at that, and we will report to you the stewards' findings as soon as they become public. Meanwhile, Jay Wong is putting a lot of pressure on Ayman Zubair right now, and they've been fighting for quite a while at this point in time. Jay, of course, he lost that car rather spectacularly on those difficult transitions between concrete and tarmac. Like I say, this really is a mixed surface racetrack.
yeah.
Concrete and tarmac really react very differently to each other. It's so bumpy on the concrete surface there. But oh, look at that. That was Ayman Zubair getting very sideways. We couldn't see what happened there, and I'm not too sure what happened next. But it looks like Ayman Zubair had an overtaking maneuver. We're going to see if we can get a replay on that. But let's have a look there. And Ayman Zubair just locked up. He locked up and got the car very sideways there.
We just talk about this with James J. Wong.
Yeah, and he just managed to get the car under control. Brilliant stuff, though. Brilliant driving. It was almost like in rallying when you go too fast into a junction. You just have to give up and stop.
But Jay Wong managed to avoid that crash because if he committed that crash, that's going to be a T-bone, Max. That's going to be a big T-bone.
And any bit of damage is going to hurt your ability to win the race. Right now, from my calculations, realistically the top 6, maybe even the top 8 have a chance of winning the race still, because we still have all those pit stops to go around, and anything can happen in an endurance race, especially as they've already started to drive around there. So Race Control says number 27 lost control in the grass, came back and hit number 20. 2 penalty points and a drive-through penalty for car number 27. That is William Wong there, who will need to go in for his drive-through penalty. Tough luck for him. Hopefully, there's plenty of race left. You should be able to make that back. But meanwhile, that's Mohamed Taki there in 4th position, really pushing that Porsche hard around the corners there. Interestingly enough, we're going to see these cars go a lot longer than they normally do, because in the previous rounds of the championship, we've been using the VRS restrictions for the cars. That means 55% fuel level. Now they have full fuel load, so we should be expecting pit stop times around the 60-minute mark, around the hour mark.
Yeah, Max. And now, well, I've seen here the last lap of these three contenders with Jae-chong, Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish. Iman Danish actually managed to get faster lap than Mika Hakimi and Jae-chong. Well, he is actually doing really great, but well, we talked about it earlier. Even if you push your car really hard, you need to be aware of your tire.
Absolutely. There we can see another neat little overtaking maneuver. These guys are having fun right now. Oh no, that's Nevsky Chin gone off the track there. It looks like he's gone off the same place that Parvinder Singh has as well. And it looks like that was James Russell there just checking up a little bit. He doesn't want to be involved with re-overtaking a car that's much quicker because that just prolongs the pain. But at the same time, he does have Han An, his championship rival, behind him. Let's have a look there. And again, identical. He got the car sideways on the concrete and he couldn't catch it going onto the tarmac. That transition, if you're sliding on that transition, the best thing you can do is just lock the brakes up and hope for the best.
There's a lot of drift tonight.
Yeah.
we see a lot of this sideways action coming in this section. You know, Max. Now Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish again, they are fighting, Max. They are fighting. Okay, if they're fighting like this for 2 hours, what will happen, Max?
I'm pretty sure either one of them is going to be in a barrier or both of them are going to be in the barrier. Oh no! Mika Hakimi gets the car very sideways, and that's given the opportunity for Iman Danish to try and overtake. And wow, that is a huge gap that Iman Danish is able to take there from Mika Hakimi. Mika did a fantastic job trying to keep that car away from the barrier, but that could have ended in tears. Let's have a look at that replay. Let's have a look at another replay here of Roy Charles just clipping the curb there and spinning out. That's a very weird incident there. Let's have a look at this replay. Look at that. Mika Hakimi hanging the tail out of the car there. He must have been hanging on for it for dear life, but he's managed to keep himself out of the barrier there. So a couple of very interesting incidents there. The Roy Charles one, the curbs, so different to what we see before.
I was like a wee bit of curb there.
Yeah. And it's just enough to just pick the side of the car up and turn it around.
To me, it just doesn't make sense, Max.
Yeah, I think Parvinder Singh might be within his reason to be very annoyed at the physics of right now for throwing that one up. But that slide from Mika Hakimi, he was very lucky to get away with just losing one position.
We happened to just talk about it.
Yeah, we were just talking.
We haven't knocked on wood yet, and then that happened.
We didn't get to that point there. I better do it now. Knock on wood. Hopefully these guys won't get into too much trouble later on in the race there. But that was a brilliant move there. So yeah, now we are driving around the track here. So far, Jae-chong is still in the lead of the race, but Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi have caught up quite a bit now. It used to be 2.5 seconds, now it's 1.2 seconds between Iman Danish and Jae-chong. And it looks like Jay might have worn that car out a little bit, or perhaps having to back off to conserve his tires just a touch there. But it looks like Jay is slowly being reeled in by the second place man Iman Danish and the third place man Mika Hakimi right at this point in time. Slowly but surely they're getting closer and closer towards the towards each other there at the moment.
There you go. Han An and James Russell. Oh, Han An is getting closer and closer. He might have a chance to win this race, Max. But he and James Russell are a solo driver for tonight, right?
Yeah, I believe they're both solo drivers for this race. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they can keep their concentration levels up. But these are the two championship contenders battling for the lead of AM category right now of the TCR class. And it looks like Han An's putting James under a lot of pressure there. Han, with his VR headset and his familiarity of his equipment there, and James Russell on a borrowed rig somewhere in Europe, in an undisclosed location in Europe right now, trying to drive the wheels off that Hyundai right now.
Well, regarding to Han An VR setup, Max, it's going to be a very eye-strained kind of setups for 2 hours straight race.
Yeah, as you can see there with the driver cam there, he's not only got the VR setup, but he's got a little bit of motion there in the seats, it looks like.
Oh, he got a motion rig, Max.
It
Yeah,
sure
that
looks
was
like it.
that was surely a motion rig.
Yeah, let's have a look going through turn 1 there, but brilliant stuff indeed. Yeah, it looks like he's on a motion rig. That has to help him out big time going around these corners there. Again, fan effect, podium, direct drive system also helping him out indeed. But you can see how he's just leaning into the corners a little bit there. Oof, you can definitely feel the feedback all the way around. Brilliant stuff there from Han, and he's using every single piece of technology he can get his hands on in order to find an advantage in this race.
Yeah, that was a really big advantage. You have a VR and you have a motion. You know where the car goes. And we know that this is like the max. This is not like the max level of setup, but this is the most accurate setup that we can get actually.
Yeah. As you can see there, 54 degrees track temperature, so quite warm. It's starting to lose a little bit of grip there out on track at the moment. So this is very typical. You see on endurance races, the temperature on the track doesn't have time to cool down, so it just keeps warming up and warming up. You can see on the top right hand corner of the screen, 54 degrees Celsius and climbing. So this is going to put another spanner in the works when it comes to trying to look after those tires. This is not Sebring temperature anymore. This is almost like Sepang temperatures.
Yeah, Max, you see it into the Han An face. His race face is actually smiling.
Yeah, he's having fun.
Yeah, I was like, this is like jalan petang kind of things. But he is actually racing with this James Russell, and they are fighting for championship prizes.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see how close he can get under braking right now. Brilliant stuff indeed. It might be an overtaking maneuver in Han An's future coming up fairly shortly. Coming up 4th gear, going up to 5th gear here. There's a big braking zone coming into Sunset Bend. He's going to think about it. He's close enough. He's going to try and slide it up on the inside. Hard on the brakes there and just managing to get through there. He's managed to hang that car on the inside, but he's run a little bit wide on the exit there. Can James Russell get some grip and try and speed out towards the exit of the corner there? He's still close enough. This could be very, very challenging indeed. Coming up towards the braking zone here. And let's see if James can counter-attack coming through the corner here. It looks like unable to do so. Han An managed to keep that car on the inside there. Brilliant maneuver there from Han An. The classic dive up on the inside going through Sunset Bend.
That was a really brilliant move, and he really brave doing something like that, because a very simple mistake there, he could end up his race and James Russell's race at one time. He could collect James Russell just like that.
Yeah, he wouldn't be so popular not only in the BSR pits but also in the Stratos pits at the same time. But in any case, that is the state of play right now. Jae Chong is your leader in the pro category and Han An your leader in the AM race. Right now we're on top of the pit building here at the fantastic Sebring International Raceway. Just to remind you, we still have that giveaway, 12 ringgit off with a minimum purchase of $40 by clicking on the link to shop at and using the code LBPER12. That's LBPER12 from the 25th of March to the 29th of April. That's very, very soon. In fact, I believe it's today.
Today, yeah.
There's still some of these codes left. It's limited to the first 500 people, so do check out that link in the pinned comment down below. And of course, we would like to say a very safe travel to all of you guys who are coming home to your hometowns for this festive season. For all of our Muslim friends, it's Eid al-Mubarak, Eid al-Fitri or Hari Raya. So have a safe trip.
Yeah, okay, I want to see where is Hyperbull's fan right now. I want to see that hype.
Absolutely, yes, indeed. But before we head down back down to the track, a special thanks to our sponsors, of course, for that fantastic 12 ringgit off deal. We'd like to thank LamboPlace there for their 5G guarantee and for sponsoring our championship. And special thanks goes out to Stratus and Excitix with our organizers there, Trumpet Impact, Vertex Esports, and our media sponsors Galeri Kereta and DSF. Drive safe and fast.
Wow, it seems like Mika Hakimi is getting to Jae Chong right now, and he is actually trying his best to take over Jay Chong. Wow. Oh, sorry, Iman Danish is not Mika Hakimi, my bad.
They're so close to each other, it's hard to tell. But it looks like Iman might be trying to look alright. He sells him the dummy on the inside, on the outside, not able to do anything, so he tries to go back onto the racing line there. That's some very high risk driving there from Iman Danish. He's treating this like a sprint race right now, really pushing hard there. You can see he's no longer looking very pensive, he's looking very serious right now, really throwing that car around. You can see from the steering angle that this Porsche GT3 car doesn't like those surface changes from the concrete onto the tarmac, onto the curb. He's really having to fight. All of the Porsche drivers are going to have to fight their cars pretty hard all the way to the end of the race there, but it looks like Iman Danish has a chance of overtaking Jay Chong in a few moments time there, especially on the back straight here. I think Jay is going to be very careful.
Well, the gap between them is getting closer and closer, and we need to remember that when Iman Danish is actually fighting with Jay Chong, Mika Hakimi will take the advantage there because he just need to push his car towards Jay Chong, not Iman Danish right now.
Absolutely. So that's the key here right now, is that it's just that mental game. You know it's a long race. There's an hour and 48 minutes left in the race right now. Do you really want to push the tires? Do you want to set the thing on fire and try and get track position? Or are you going to be a little bit more canny and wait for the pit stops and try and get them there? You can, in this race, with the way the length of the race is sort of laid out, you could short stop on the first stint or on the second stint to try and get some driving position. You can see the Iman Danish there just ducking underneath the steering wheel, karting style, just to make sure he's got a little bit more pace to get past that driver there. Fantastic stuff.
Well,
indeed.
It is nearly Raya, right? Then that happened every Raya.
Yeah.
As Malay will call it potong angin.
Yeah, when you're on the 125cc bikes coming down the highway, you just want to save a bit of fuel coming down there. But always entertaining watching Iman Danish going through there. He likes to duck underneath the steering wheel and just entertain as he's racing around there. And let me tell you something, he might be entertaining, but he's also very, very quick indeed.
And he is smiling, Max. The tense of his face is actually gone right now. I was like, okay, I got this. I just need to keep this pace.
Absolutely. He's in fact pulling away from Mika Hakimi right now. So that just goes to show the pace that Iman Danish has found in that Porsche. And there's a couple of cars up ahead. That happens to be our race leaders in the AM category. This is the Pro category race leaders. Try to lap the AM category race leaders right now. Let's see what's going to happen here. Jay Chong does a fantastic maneuver there to try and go past the two of them at the same time. Iman is forced to try and follow a few tenths behind there. That's bulked Iman a little bit going through there, and Mika Hakimi also managing to slide through there, although he's bulked a little bit more. But that's brilliant driving between the TCR leaders and the GT3 leaders. Fantastic stuff from all the drivers here. But brilliant stuff there from that. That was a masterclass in traffic management, especially from Jay Chong, who's managed to buy just a tenth or two in terms of gap between himself and Iman Danish just through that move.
Oh, that was really a good move, Max. And Iman Danish make it look simple. He was like, okay, I just need to follow him, and now he is right behind the tail of Jay Chong. Wow, and Mika Hakimi is getting closer and closer and closer. I don't think Iman Danish will make any move in the meantime.
And it looks like, well, he was definitely thinking about it, but I don't think he's going to go for it right and now. Pit lane correspondent there, Umar Aziz, sending us a comment there. Iman Danish and Han An on fire today, absolutely right now, putting a lot of pressure. But Jay Chong, I think, has to be commended for leading the race so far. We're into the final 2 hours of the race there, and he's doing a fantastic job keeping Iman Danish behind him. Ooh, big sideways moment there, and that looks like Iman Danish managing to go around the outside there. A single mistake, and now we have a new race leader. Iman Danish is now in first position, followed by Jay Chong and Mika Hakimi. But of course, Jay would not want to be sitting there and taking it lying down. He's going to try his hardest to catch back up again. But mind you, Iman Danish has already opened a half a second gap on Jay Chong. That goes to show how hard the young Iman Danish is pushing right now.
And we see earlier that Iman Danish has a very good pace rather than Jae Chong and Mika Hakimi on the past few laps. And he just staying behind Jae Chong, waiting for Jae Chong to make any mistake so that he can come and take that advantage, as in kutip saya.
There we go. We're going to see ride on board with Mika Hakimi, who's definitely looking very stern, very serious right now, and definitely in a different clothing or a different sartorial style, shall we say. I think we saw in the comments that they were wondering why he was always racing in a hoodie, so now he's in a singlet right now, showing off those guns.
Yeah, he always racing in a singlet. He said that.
But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Brilliant stuff indeed. Driving down through these S's here, and you can see he's definitely catching Jae Chong at a fair old clip, going through this sector here, coming down towards the braking zone there. It's still going to take, I think, 2 or 3 laps before he can try and catch back up with Jae Chong, but Mika Hakimi, you can see how focused he is towards the front pack right now.
You know, Max, the gap between the best time between these Iman Danish, Jae Chong and Mika Hakimi is actually less than 1/10 of a second. They are doing really good right now, and the pace for all of them, Mika Hakimi, well, he's just doing great. 2:02.88 last lap. That was really a good pace for him right now. And Jae Chong, it doesn't look that great right now with that 2:03.27 timing just now last lap.
Yeah, it could be a situation where Jay might think of coming into the pits there. It looks like he's sliding around a bit more. He's not quite able to slow the car up and claim that apex. And that's one of the things where you can see the tyre performance is really letting Jae Chong down. He perhaps may have put a bit too much energy into the tyres at the start of the race there. But let's have a look and see if Mika Hakimi can get past here. It looks like he's got very racy right now. But you can definitely tell Jay can only do so much right now because Mika is catching up at a hell of a rate. And it looks like he might have the grip to try and make a move past.
Yeah, Jay might have a little bit of issue with his tire right now. I mean, like it is a 40-minute mark right now, 42-minute mark right now, and we know that the tire won't hold that long. At 1 hour mark, they definitely need to go into the pit. And I bet if Jae Chong trying to pit, it will be in the 45-minute mark.
Whoa! Big sideways moment there. And Mika Hakimi has to send the car around the outside in order to avoid him. How did they not crash into each other?
Oh,
Unbelievable stuff there. Mika looks like he's going to take that position. Coming down towards the braking zone there. Jae Chong tries his hardest to keep the speed up, but he's running out of grip. He's running out of room. He sends the cones flying through there. And it looks like Taki might be able to get him through. And yes, indeed, Jae Chong goes into the pits there. Unbelievable stuff there. We didn't expect that was going to happen that quickly.
Yo, he was like, okay, that's it. I need to reset. That's it. Now Taki, a man from behind. It was like, jing jing.
Let's have a look there. That was Jae Chong running a little bit wide onto the grass there, and let's have a look and see how Mika Hakimi managed to avoid it. It looked for all the world that Jay was going to send that car into Mika, but Mika, just by the skin of his teeth, managed to hang on to the situation, avoid crashing into Jae Chong, and managing to make that overtake work. Unbelievable stuff.
Wow, that air pool was like poof.
That's like something out of a movie. That was so...
It was so comical, bro. It was so comical, but that was really a good reflect from Mika Hakimi just now. Now the gap between him and Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish was actually getting further away.
Yeah, I think it would have taken quite a bit out of Mika Hakimi to try and compose himself and get that overtaking maneuver done. Let's have a look at the AM class category. The TCR category right now, James Russell right behind Han An at the moment. If the order stands like this, James Russell would become champion, technically speaking. But Han An, all he can do is get the car into the lead of the race and just hope for the best at this point. But it looks like James Russell might not be saying no. James Russell might not be saying yes to that situation right now.
Yeah, Max. Just now, James Russell seems to be in a little bit of toning down his race pace, so that maybe he trying to undercut the pit, or trying to save his tires and so on. Well, that might be a strategy for him, because we know that he and Han An was actually driving solo in this race, so he need a little bit of time to make sure that he don't overdo his car.
Absolutely, James definitely will be very aware of that fact. He's done quite a few endurance races as well, and now we can see some of the drivers overtaking that. I believe that's Pagvinder Singh or Nevsky Chin, I'm not too sure. I think that's Roy Charles there. Pagvinder Singh putting another lap on the AM class leaders right now, and it looks like he has in fact just backed the car right off in order to try and just maintain the pace going through there. But then again, these cars really only race for about 45 minutes usually, at best. The sprint races are 25 minutes long, I believe, or 22 or 25 minutes long, and these cars generally don't tend to race that long. They have gone through endurance races like the 12 hours at Bathurst and things like that, so they do race them in endurance, but it'll be interesting to see. I think the grip levels are starting to go down, and the fuel levels are as well.
Yeah, they do go into an endurance race, Max. But the stint timing for this car is actually only 45 up to maybe 50 minutes.
Yeah.
That might be the best timing that they can do. But you know that the track temperature now is 54.
Yeah.
So it might be less than that.
Yeah, indeed. They've managed to keep those cars going for 46 minutes so far, and I don't believe anyone's gone into the pits just quite yet. Well, we did see in the Pro Class category a couple of cars go into the pits, and of course some drivers are in the pits due to damage at the moment. But it looks like from the front runners at least, the TCRs are still trying to hang out there as long as possible. They might be planning on going long on the first stint. And, you get into a situation where you're thinking the same way that the guy in front of you and the guy behind of you is thinking. It can get a little bit tricky. You've got to compete with them on pace. But if you can just think in a different way and try and do something that no one else has expected, that would be perhaps an advantage. It could be a disadvantage as well. That's the trick with strategy. Offsetting your pits could be a big success or a big failure.
There you go. Between you see, when James Russell brake, it's actually have a little bit of that lock-up situation there, and that tires that we talk about, it might be an issue right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's starting to get a little bit slippery out there, and I think they'll start thinking about heading into the pits. One man who has his eye on the prize and his hands on the pulse of the matter right now is our pit lane reporter Umar Aziz, and I'm glad to say we've managed to sneak a camera on his luggage as he's gone down to Sebring International Airport on his way to the circuit there, so we'll be able to get some footage of him. We'll be able to try and talk to Umar Aziz. So our pit lane correspondent live on the scene there, Umar Aziz, coming right at you. And there you have it, Umar Aziz. How are you doing down there?
Hey guys, doing good. It has been an awesome race, awesome start of the race. Now everything's been cooling down a bit. Maybe we can have a chat. Yeah, I'm waiting for these guys to actually come into the pits, but I guess it's going to be soon. I think only Jay Chong, is it, that came into the pits?
Yeah, it looked to all the world that he's run out of tire completely. What do you think the tire wear is going to be like out there?
Oh, it's incredibly hot today, so tire management is going to be really important for the race.
So what do you think the best timing the best timing for them to pit? Because we can see that James Russell now also have that kind of a slippery issue,
You can see these guys having trouble. Maybe they have graining on their tires, so it might be. I think they have to plan their pit stops. Maybe some of them is thinking about double stinting, but the heat today, it's really, really bad. So they're gonna have to pit soon.
Yeah, and it looks for all the world that at least for the front two drivers, they're going to have to come in for tyres fairly shortly. We think it's going to be between 45 and 55 minutes. They've managed to push it up to 49 minutes at the moment. Do you think they're going to try and make it to the hour, or are they going to be pitting in the next couple of laps?
Yeah, well, today they have full fuel without the regulated fuel tank. So I think maybe the Porsches will come in about 1 hour, 5 minutes maybe. And the TCRs, we're not sure. We don't have data for that yet. But just to recap, for those of you guys that missed the race, you can catch us on YouTube. And you can watch Iman Danish's performance. Incredible from Han An. And the start from Jeffrey Kwan. That was crazy slingshot action.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there from the start of the race. Any predictions, by the way, from you out there on the field as to who's going to be leading come the end of the race? Do you think you could see any favourites coming out there?
Favourites. Well, Iman Danish is looking really strong here. But don't wait for Kelvinder Singh to come out. And I think Taki's going to be the underdog here. He's doing good laps, good management, and I think from the M class. Anybody mention? I guess it's going to be Han and James Russell. Battle to the end.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that indeed. Thank you so much for joining us, Omar, and we'll speak to you later on in the race as well. There you have it, live on the scene and live on camera on the first time there. Umar Aziz, our pit lane correspondent, right there taking the tyre temps and taking the track lap times from the side of the track there. Brilliant bit of reporting all throughout the season from him.
Now, Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish is still fighting. Iman Danish, I think he got a bit issue with his tires just right now, because you can see the gap is getting closer and closer between him and Mika Hakimi, and this is the time when he has to think when is the right moment for him to just go to pit.
Yeah, indeed. You can see there, I think the gap was all the way up to 1 second, 1.5 seconds around there, and now it's back down to 0.3 of a second between Iman, Danish and Mika. Iman and Mika, they're pushing those cars absolutely to their limit right now. They can't be driving on anything more than cords at this moment on their tyres. They've just about run out of tread on those things, but they're pushing their cars as hard as possible. Again, very hot temperatures out there, 54, 55 degrees Celsius out on track there. You can see the brake discs glowing and all the rest of it. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the replay there. Jay Wong putting a move on Simon Sanchez, the Singaporean, managing to get a hold of and pass Simon, the driver from Macau there, and brilliant maneuver there. Get the car sideways on the exit as well, why not?
and he catch it. I was like, this is not a problem for me. I was bam, and that was a good action shown by Jay Wong, a driver from Singapore. He is also a lonely driver and a solo driver in this race right now.
Yeah, he's sort of famous for that. That's why he's known as the lonely driver. With these intermediate race distances, he likes to just go at it alone and push as hard as possible. Let's see.
Now it's different, Max.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So it's another lap now from Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi going around there. 53 minutes have passed. And like Umar said, 1 hour 5 minutes is roughly the stint time that they're expecting. But with the temperatures being the way they are, I think they're going to have to start thinking about coming in early. Would Mika try and undercut Iman Danish at this point, or will Iman try and hold on out there? Alif Shauki there, he's come into the pits there. I think he's one of the first guys on their schedule to head into the pits there, but there is a reason why. He's gone very hard into the barrier there, and we're watching a replay of his incident, and that first corner is catching out a lot of drivers.
Again and again and again. The same corner, the same action, the same thing happened to another driver. And it just happened to be no issue at first.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when it comes to tire temperatures, the track temperatures and so on, now it really has been a big issue.
absolutely. Now, this battle between Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi has gotten into a little bit of an interesting point now, because they're now lapping the TCR cars yet again. And this is where fighting between these two, the fight between these two drivers is going to get really interesting right now. Because, as you know, anything can happen when you're lapping someone whilst battling for the lead.
And Max, Umar Aziz said that Muka racing dia endurance and the sprint race is quite different from Mika Hakimi.
The race faces.
He's
got the endurance spec race face on. Yeah.
This is my endurance spec race faces. Yeah, and it is actually a thing. And right now they are fighting for the whole 1 hour race, Max.
Yeah.
And they still have 1 hour and 35 minutes to go. And that will change the driver. We know that Iman Danish has Calvinder behind, and Mika Hakimi might have Ayman Haziq behind him.
Yeah, two very, very quick co-drivers there for both these drivers to rely on in their fight for the win of this race. And that could be very interesting indeed.
And you know what best, Max? Iman Danish has been fighting with Mika Hakimi for the past 4 rounds. And Calvinder has been fighting with Ayman for the past 6 and 5 rounds.
Absolutely. So these two drivers have been battling with each other. They're going to swap out, and it's going to go lead into another battle right now. Let's have a look at Mika Hakimi. Sorry, that's not... I was going to say that wasn't Mika Hakimi there. That was Youngmun Fai. We'll try that again. That's Youngmun Fai on the driver cam right now, and he's got a fantastic rig, as you can see there. Triple monitor setup, really the thing to have for endurance racing, because it takes a lot of that tired feeling. It takes a lot of the eye strain out that you normally have in VR. But I believe he's got quite a bit of other technology there. You can see there he's got some fantastic pedals. I believe he's running direct drive, brilliant sim racing setup right now.
He's got a win sim.
Yeah, he's got the win sim as well.
There. Okay, for those who doesn't know, win sim is actually a device that will accumulate the win in terms of how fast it is in the game, and it will push the same win towards that machine, that device, and towards our face.
Yeah, so it gives you a very accurate sense of speed, wind speed, as you're driving around there. So that's a brilliant bit of technology. I know in Malaysia we have Zach Zwan, who's in charge, and he's really been developing that wind sim concept for quite some time indeed. Meanwhile, Iman Danish has gone into the pits there. So now it's started. 57 minutes have passed, and Iman Danish is going for the undercut into the pits right now. I think he feels like he just can't hang on anymore with the tyres, with the fuel level, with all the rest of it right now. So he's gone into the pits for a service. Mika Hakimi has stayed out on track right now. So all Mika has to do now, and I make it sound so simple, but all Mika has to do right now is really push the cars as hard as possible. He's got 1 or 2 laps to really get the pace out of the car.
At most, he got 2 laps, Max.
Yeah.
He got 2 laps at most. Just because we know that Iman Danish has been pushing his car from the first start of the race, and then now he is changing to Calvinder Singh.
Absolutely. So Iman Danish getting out of the car there. Fantastic job there from the Hyperbull driver there, and the Hyperbull team right now doing a fantastic job of just servicing that car around there. Calvinder Singh will take over that car for the middle stint. Alif Shauki has finished his repairs, and he's gone for a tyre swap as well, and I believe Taki as well has gone into the pits through there. But brilliant bit of driving there for him to try and keep his way out there. But as you can see there, Wong, Calvinder Singh and Ayman Subair, they're not losing much position out on track there. And Calvinder Singh comes out in 5th position. Zainal Hazim says, for you are the trackside reporter. Yes, indeed. We've had him for quite some time sending us text messages, but now he's able to tell us live and in person.
Wow, Amerika dah tak payah pakai mask. Yeah, we need to wait until 1st of May, then we don't have to use mask anymore.
The mask mandates, we do have to say the mask mandates in Florida have already been repealed.
Tak bising ke tu? Of course it is. You see that Omar just now, he pushed his in-ear monitor inside, and then just to hear what we are asking him just now.
So now it's Mika Hakimi's turn to go in, and like I said, he was changing with
Ayman
Ayman
Haziq, I
Haziq.
think.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see if he decide to change to Ayman Haziq. Well, he might race this race alone. He might.
But yeah, I think it's going to be at least two pit stops. So it could be that he might do 2 stints and then hand off to Ayman Haziq for the last part of the race there. James Russell heading into the pits in the lead of the AM category right now. So he's gone into the pits. He's got a short stint there. He's managed to make it all the way to 1 hour in terms of stint length right now. And I believe Hanan's still out there on track.
Wow.
Keeping his pace up. So that's brilliant bit of conservation from both drivers there.
Wow, he did really manage to do it, Max. Well, I bet Hanan will have like maybe one last lap, because for sure he will have that tire issue, that fuel issue, you know.
Oh, he's hurting out there, I'm sure. And it'll only be 1 or 2 laps before he comes in. But it's good to see that the drivers are actually staggering their pit stops. They're not pitting all on the same lap. 2 or 3 of them might be following each other's strategy, but it's really important to just have that 1 lap ahead or behind. It's a less cluttered pit lane, and it gives the drivers time to react.
Well, Mika Hakimi decide not to change the driver, Max, and now Kevin thinks his Mika Hakimi can do the cut.
Yes, he's managed to do. He's managed to neutralize the undercut there, and he's managed to keep that car in 2nd position right now. So Mabataki is in 1st place, but he's yet to pit, and Mika Hakimi has managed to keep that car ahead of Kelvinder Singh.
Right?
I don't think so.
Really? Isn't we see Taki just now? Wow.
Don't think he's pitted with his regular pit yet.
Yeah. Taki has been pit.
Yeah, but he didn't pit for a regular pit stop, did he?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. That's why. Wow.
yeah, but Mika didn't drive as well.
That's why.
We were just talking to our we were just talking to our to our producer there, and he assumed that Mika Hakimi had a driver's stop, which is why he was behind Taki, but he isn't. So Mika, somehow Taki, I think he must be on the same set of tires.
Oh yeah.
So
Wow, that was a bold move.
yeah, so I think we've worked out that Muhammad Taki has in fact gone in fuel only and come out 9 places ahead of his starting point in 1st place. I think that must be the strategic move of the season.
Wow.
To keep himself up in 1st position. Mika Hakimi is now in 2nd place, and Kelvinder Singh has taken over from Iman Danish in 3rd place.
Well, that was a really good strategy, Max. Just imagine that on the mark of 1 hour and 30 minutes, he just need to come in and change his tire, and change his and refuel, and then just finish the race.
Yeah, that could be what he's trying to do now. He's definitely going for a very unconventional pit strategy. He's broken down the pit stop, so he knows he might just be able to come in for fuel. Next time he might be able to come in for tires only, and then a splash and dash at the end. And that might be the way he's thinking of, or like you said, to do only 1 full service stop the entire race and just have a stop for fuel there. But that's brilliant bit of thinking there. We were completely flabbergasted because the gap, you must understand, the reason why we're confused is the gap between Taki and Mika Hakimi is 23 seconds.
It's not like 1 or 2 seconds, it's 23 seconds. And with that gap, if he managed to hold on to that gap, he might get another round of pit, and Mika Hakimi is still behind him.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff there. If he can hold on to that gap for the next 20 to 30 minutes, he might be able to make that work. Race control, lap 28, incident between car 669 and car number 1 is under investigation at the moment. So I believe that is the lapping incident there between Shami Azri and
Shami Aizan.
Shami Aizan, yeah.
Shami Azri and Shami Aizan.
I had to get that in the right order there for a second.
Yeah. I know that, Max. I know that.
But I'm surprised that we're 1 hour into the race and it's the first the first time that we've actually had a steward's inquiry into lapping and overtaking the slower cars, because usually it's a bit of a mess when it comes to multi-class racing, as you know.
And well, next, like we talked about earlier, I don't think that 1 hour race will be this close. The gap between the first place, second place, and third place.
Well, let's have a look at Jay Wong here. Oh, big accident there between Jay Wong, and that was car 669, I believe. That was Shami Azri. That's coming into the braking zone there. He had to dive in on the inside to try and avoid Jay, but unfortunately lost control of the car inside the apex of the corner there, and he's gone into Jay, and that's going to really push both drivers back quite a bit there. And you can see Jay Wong's got a really deranged rear suspension. He's going to be really struggling to get that car back into the pits. That's bad.
Wow, that was so unfortunate for Jay Wong. Well, in this kind of race, anything can happen.
So yeah, there you go. That was some pretty serious incident there. You could see that he tried to just avoid going into the inside of the corner there, and when you're on the inside of the curb, there is no racing line, there's no rubber down, there's a lot of dust there, and you just have no hope.
He was just jump out of that curb.
Yeah.
It looks like, okay, he will turn in, and maybe like he will overshoot there. But the difference there is, he, instead of overshoot there, he jumped inside the track and hit Jay Wong like right behind him.
Lap 28, incident between car 669 and car 64 is under investigation. I'm not too surprised.
That was the thing just now. That was
Yes.
not between Shami Aizan and Shami Azri.
So
It is
that's-
actually between Shami Azri and
Jay
Jay Wong.
Yeah, so that was the one between Shami Azri and Jay Wong.
Yeah.
So again, Shami Azri not been having too much fun out there on track. We've seen car 669 under investigation a couple of times there. Hopefully he'll be able to clear all of that and just get focused and keep racing again. Because when you have a really eventful race, you can take the focus right out of it.
Yeah, I do agree with that, Max. And now, like we said earlier, between Mika Hakimi and Kalvinder Singh, the gap is getting away, pull away, and away. And we know that when we do a driver change, it will take some time. Changing your tires, you changing your refuel and driver change will take a lot of time.
Yeah, as you can see there, James Russell just trying his hardest to look for a way past the car ahead of him, and meanwhile Parvinder Singh is looking desperately for a way past these two TCR cars. He'll get the job done on the main straight there. Meanwhile, we'll see yeah, there you go. We can see there another bit of passing the slower cars. That could take the rhythm right out of it on situations like this, and that could give drivers such as James Russell just that chance to try and look for a way past William Wong right now. They're going to go side by side. Actually, he's got a fantastic run coming out of the final corner there. Let's see if he can do anything. Ooh, a little bit of a touch there with William Wong. He thought he was clear, not quite clear yet, but he's managed to keep that car under control. James Russell not willing to risk anything at this point in time. He knows he's got a race-winning car. He doesn't want to get into too deep a trouble there. They are battling for position out there on track. Mika Hakimi, meanwhile, is putting some distance between himself and Kelvinder Singh at the moment in his battle to try and catch up with Taki. Taki is about 2 or 3 seconds slower than Mika Hakimi, so I think that is the case, that he has in fact kept the tires on the car right now. James Russell there trying to look around the outside of William Wong, on the inside of William Wong, and it looks like William's gone just a little bit wide there. Is he going to be able to overtake it? They're going to go side by side, coming down towards the back straight there, and it looks like James Russell just about able to get the car finally ahead. Hyundai's finally overtaken the Honda there, and that's some pretty stressful stuff there. William Wong looking on the inside, looking on the outside, hard on the brakes, and he counter attacks, but he's gone wide. Williams gone wide there, and James is able to overtake yet again. Unbelievable driving from these two drivers there. They are going at it tooth and nail right now. But it looks like William Wong finally has to concede defeat there to James Russell. 2 counter-attacks there from William Wong, definitely showing that he's no pushover when it comes to TCR racing.
Well, Max, what William Wong do just now is actually really great maneuver, Max. He tried his best just to make sure that James Russell doesn't have an easy path to win this race. And right now, James Russell is 20 seconds behind Han An, Shami Aizan, Mavinderjit Singh, and Leong Mong Fai. Oh, I think this guy haven't pitted yet. Han An, Shami Aizan, Mavinderjit Singh, Leong Mong Fai haven't pitted yet, Max.
Oh, indeed, they have not. So they are trying to run those cars really long right now. That's surprising. 1 hour and 10 minutes into the race there. That's
They doesn't have the problem with fuel.
Well, they don't have any problems with fuel, but I'm pretty sure they're not running on the freshest of tires out there with 55 degrees of track temperature. I would be very surprised if they can carry on there. But James Russell managed to keep himself in 14th place overall.
So I would like to ask Omar Aziz if he can get the replay between what happened between Jay Wong and Shami Azri just now. You can see here, actually Shami Azri run a little bit inside.
So he's been trying to get in on the inside for a few laps now, a few corners there. And we'll see coming up to this section. This is where Shami tries to make that overtaking maneuver work, but there's a slower car ahead of Jay Wong, and he has to check up big time there, and that puts everyone, it stacks everyone up there. And that was the moment where Shami Azri had to make the decision, and I think he did make a smart decision. He went in on the inside of the track just to try and avoid it, but on the inside of the track, it's concrete and it's full of dust. So as soon as he got on the inside of the track there, trying to avoid Jay Wong, Shami lost control of the car and unfortunately clattered into Jay Wong there. I think Shami tried his hardest to avoid that accident, but unfortunately...
That is the thing. Jay Wong is actually trying to overtake that slower pace car. And Jay Wong caught Shami Azri off guard there.
Yeah.
He didn't brake on time.
Yeah.
Just because, well, if you driving like Shami Azri just now, you doesn't think that, oh, he will stop there.
Mm-hmm.
You got what I mean, right?
Yeah.
When you know somebody behind you, you will like, okay, let this guy pass me first.
Absolutely. You could see there that because Jay had to check up big time to slow down behind that TCR car, that just set the whole thing in motion. Shami had to try and find a way past them because he's literally on his nose of his car trying to find a way past. And I think at the end he thought, okay, it's concrete, there's going to be a bit of grip. It's not like I'm going onto the grass to try and avoid this. There might be a bit of grip there, but always on the inside of the tracks. When you go outside of track limits, you never know what you're going to find.
No, we know. We have seen a lot of people who go inside too much, a little bit maybe into the concrete outside of the track, and it got way bad.
Yeah, the car really gets away from you there, and you can see there was a real snap on him. I think he had everything locked up. He tried to stop the car there, but a big, heavy 1.5-ton Porsche GT3 car is not the easiest thing to slow down, especially when the grip isn't ideal there. Nevsky Chin right now, he's plugging along right now, trying to chase out after Pavinder Singh further along the track there. He's in the last of the front runners right now. Meanwhile, we can report that Jay Wong, on our timing screens at least, has dropped a load of time there. I think his rear suspension is deranged. I'm not too sure if he'll be heading into the pits or if he's already come out again.
I think he already come out again. Because just now he is in the pit, but...
So he's still out there. He's still trying to make that car work. Meanwhile, Ayman Zubair going around the outside of the TCR car just to keep us on our toes, I suppose, coming across those famous checkered flag finish line. But that was a brilliant piece of driving there, just to make sure he didn't lose too much speed there. Shami Azri is putting Ayman Zubair under a lot of pressure right now. The gap isn't too big isn't too small at the moment, but it's definitely closing up. Meanwhile, Kelvinder Singh is also catching. Shami Azri is definitely catching up with Ayman Zubair at the moment. Sort of bit by bit, it's 0.6 of a second. The gap used to be around about 2 seconds there, so I think he's catching it at quite the rate.
Yeah, Max. Now between well, this is 1 hour race, but we see overtake here and there, Max. We haven't seen this much action in endurance race before.
Jay Chong now is into the pits there. Let's have a look. Let's see what happened with Jay Chong. Again, the first quarter. You get that thing sideways on the
Nothing that
concrete.
you can do. Nothing that you can do.
Yeah. You better be aware of it as well. You can see the back end breaks out, and it's very hard to control the slide, especially when you get too much angle on it. These cars aren't Formula D drift cars. They don't have that much steering angle to try and drive out of that.
This is not your uncle, so it doesn't forgive you when you do mistake.
Oh yeah.
That is for sure.
Meanwhile, this is Pagvinder Singh, and it looks like he got into contact there with another car. I believe that was Jay Wong. So let's have a look at that instant replay again from Jay Wong's point of view on this other camera. Jay tried to go around the outside of Pagvinder Singh, but they got into a bad bit of contact there. It looks like Jay's race is going from bad to worse at this point.
Wow, that was... Okay, Jay will have this kind of mechanical issue right now. You know, after even though he repaired those things, he still have that mechanical issue. So he can't really do any risky move anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we're not too sure if he's fixed the car yet.
Yeah, he fixed the car yet. Yeah, just now he fixed the car. Yeah. He got one pit stop, and then he takes another pit stop just to repair the car.
So we're not...
Yeah, almost here.
I don't think...
Because just now he can't really drive, Max. Yeah. I don't know, it's not updated.
I was just wondering there, because on the timing screen it's one pit stop, and it's very hard to do one pit stop and then another pit stop to fix it. So I was just like, hang on a second. I think our timing screen is not working at the moment. But in any case, we've got a few more of the touring cars into the pits there. Sharon Nurafudin is going to take over the third place car there, and meanwhile Melvin should be coming... Yeah, Alif Shauki is in the pits still. He's 9 laps down at the moment. He's been repaired in the pits there, repairing some damage from that
There's a lot
impact.
of damage.
Yeah, it would be. He had a huge knock on the first corner there early on in the race. So I think he's going to be in there for quite some time. Hopefully he'll be able to get back out there and get some laps through. You know, the spirit of endurance race, keep that car going. Zero Blinker saying TCR fuel tank is endless. And yeah, I think he's probably right there. The TCR fuel tank is quite huge, it seems like. But then again, they are only running 300 horsepower as opposed to 600 horsepower of the quicker cars. Meanwhile, that's James Russell. He's moved up to 4th position right now. He's managed to overtake the car now being driven by Sharon Nurafudin. And he's moved up yet one more position there to try and keep that car running like a top. He's the fastest. He's actually the highest positioned person who's already made a pit stop there, so it's all about trying to drop that gap between himself and Han An at the moment in order to try and claim that lead. But
Han An might also do that 1 hour and 25 minute pit stop. That might work for him because he has been driving with 1 hour and 18 minutes. Wow, I bet he doesn't have any issue with his tires then.
Yeah, I think once the pressure went away with James Russell coming into the pits, he's in full tyre conservation mode right now. He's 13 seconds ahead of Malvinderjit Singh and 41 seconds ahead of Leongman Phai at the moment. So he's got the gap behind him so he can focus on just keeping that car rolling around the track there. So it's definitely a target at the index of efficiency style of driving, keeping that car in a straight line. But you can see the cars beginning to head into the pits there. But of course, all James has to do is just try and close up that gap by any means he can at the moment there. There's a 41-second gap that he needs to drop down to about 30 seconds roughly before the pit stop happens. So it's going to be down to pace. It's going to be down to the lap times at this point.
You know, Max, after 1 hour and 18 minutes, Han An still managed to do 2 minutes and 17 seconds with that set of tires and that fuel. Oh, that was really good. Because James Russell now, the last timing was actually 2:17.26. and Han An is actually 2:17.34. It was like the same pace.
Yeah.
But we need to remember that James Russell go in and change his tire, but Han An doesn't do that.
James Russell now just done 2:16.93. So I think the lap times are going up and down quite a bit right now.
It's like we was actually amazed with this.
Yeah. But in any case, the lap times probably are going to be changing quite a bit throughout the course of this race here because of the overtaking. Race control, there's car 669 did an unsafe overtaking hit on car number 1 on the side and spun out. 2 penalty points for car 669. So that has been the steward's decision on that particular incident there. That's Shami Azri there, Kerajaan Langit Racing.
Yeah, Shami Azri was actually fighting for position in the second place in the championship right now, Max, and that was really unfortunate for him. This is the race control lap 31 incident between number 4 and number 64 is under investigation. That was between Pavinder Singh and Jay Wong just now.
So
Wow.
yeah, that's
There's a lot of 64 happened and 4. Oh, the number is not good. 4 and 64.
so we know what we're not going to pick for the lotto tickets, that's for sure. In any case, let's have a look at the instant replay here. Zainal Hazim getting into a little bit of trouble. It's not the first corner, but it's not too far away there, and into the tire barriers. That's a big hit into the tires. He just got the car sideways on the brakes there. You can see the tires are just about done on that car.
Yeah, he haven't pit yet. Well, we talked about it earlier. He haven't pit yet.
Absolutely, they're trying to run the fuel tanks dry. I think that's going to be some of the strategies with some of the drivers there. Is they're just driving out there on track and keeping the cars out there for as long as possible. But you can see there, Zainal's got, I think, some suspension issues as well from that impact. He cannot brake in a straight line to save his life there.
Wow, that's going to be a bit scary for him. Now Kavinder Singh on the still on the third place. Taki was actually leading this race and he is doing just fine. But the gap between him and Mika Hakimi is getting closer and closer. Like we said earlier, Taki might did another pit stop in 1 hour and 30 minute marks. That might be that was our prediction.
Yeah, I mean, the pace seems to be going back and forth right now, but of course they are lapping cars as they're going around, which is why we're seeing these lap times go back and forth and ebb and flow quite a bit. It's a typical thing with Sebring. The traffic tends to put up a lot of surprises around here because there's so few places where you can really confidently pass a slower car easily. Meanwhile, on the Kavinder Singh's driver cam there, we have Iman Danish there just having a quick snack and a quick rehydration before the start of the race there. He's got his fan going, he's got his feet up. That's what drivers do when they're not in the car. They're just relaxing.
He was watching wayang right now. I was like, okay, I got my snack, I got my water bottles, I got things. I just watch my teams to do his best lah.
I remember, I'll leave the gentleman name to spare his blushes, but I was racing in an endurance race with a driver who was very, very quick, and in fact the father of an even quicker driver nowadays, and he was racing the Porsches, and we used to remember he would crawl up underneath one of the benches back in the pits and just have a nap. As soon as he got out of the car, straight away, a nap. Afterwards, he'd go up to the commissary, have something to eat and relax and have a chat with all the drivers. He wanted anything to do but the race. He wouldn't look at the monitors, he wouldn't look anything, but he was dead fast when he was in the car, and he always got us to good results
That
there.
is, he's just trying to, get his nerve out of his head, and then it's like, okay, I just chill first, then later if I need to go back, and then I am fully ready and fully prepared to attack every single position that I can attack. And that was actually helping them to get faster. And we know that, Max, we have been watching people's endurance before, 12 hours, 24 hours. We see the black cam just because the driver was sleeping behind. And we see that a lot.
Absolutely, like even when I've done the odd endurance race there, you'd think all the drivers want to be hanging off the pit lane when it's not their stint, really looking looking at the times and analyzing things, but it really isn't the case. We couldn't care less.
No,
You let us know whether you're first, last, or crashed.
I just want to finish my stint.
We finished our job. I want to go have some pasta now. But it's true. It's the only way you can relax in these sort of situations.
Yeah, you are tense. For the whole stint that you are driving, you are tense, Max.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to tone down your things and relax,
Yeah.
get out all the nerve and go back and hit that action again and again and again.
Interestingly enough, just having a look at the last 2 or 3 laps there, I think Taki is actually managing to keep that car going fast enough that I think he might be able to make it on strategy. We're coming up to 1 hour to go now in the race. Hanan finally comes roaring into the pits there. That's a brilliant bit of driving there from Hanan to bring that car in.
Hanan is doing the double pit stop there.
Yeah, he's managed to double stint the car there in really hot conditions. That must be very difficult indeed. Meanwhile, let's have a look on board with Leong Mun Fai. We can actually see not only the steering, not only the braking, the acceleration, but also his view from the camera there. So you'll see exactly what he is seeing in real time down there in the driver cam at the moment. Let's have a look and see how he tackles that final corner, the legendary Sunset Bend here in the race there. He lets one of the faster Porsches go past. Let's see how he feeds the car into the corner there. Lots of steering input required in the early part of the corner. You don't have that feel, that bite as you go in. Now he's going into the pits as you can see there, but it looks like it's all going to happen right now for the AM class in the pit stops.
Hanan is out and James Russell is still 13 seconds behind him. 10, 9, 8,
7,
the gap
6.
The gap is going down and down and down and under.
Well, it looks like Hanan might not have had the sprightliest of exits out of the pits there, but
the timing was actually playing with us. No?
we really don't trust the timing monitors at the moment. They're playing tricks for us right now. Jagjivan Singh there saying TCR cars need to go to the Gojira speed shop. I think they might actually have to.
Well, no, that is the problem. When they go to Gojira speed shop, they can't drive the car anymore.
I'll know. It might have 4-wheel drive and 600 horsepower afterwards, but it's not undrivable. Just a bit more challenging.
A bit more challenging. That's how they put it when you go to Gojira speed shop. That's how they put it.
For all of you AC fans out there, it is my pleasure to admit that we are working on a couple of cars for a couple of series later on this year in AC. And of course, in AC, we've got our man in the garage there, Mr. Gojira, tuning the cars up for the championships. So do watch out for his handiwork in the next, the following championships.
His handiwork gonna kill you guys. Trust me.
It's not that bad.
It's not bad. It's just hard. But it is really good. It is really good.
He just happens to have a philosophy of adding at least 100 horsepower to whatever he looks at.
At least. So I was like, okay, I add another 1,000 horsepower if I can.
But there we go. That's Sharil Norafuddin looking very dapper with his VR set, color matched to his headset in the cockpit right now. But you can see there he's definitely got the car in a nice rhythm, and he's following James Russell, championship leader right now, out on track.
There you go. This is actually Sharil Norafuddin is a pair with Shame Aizan just now. So another driver on a rest and relax. You know?
Absolutely. Like I said, it's surprising. A lot of drivers, a lot of people who aren't into endurance racing would think that these guys will be hanging off every single frame on the TV monitors in the pits. Nah.
No. Okay, this is what I can tell. I was with the Speed 7 guy in those endurance race, right? So we sit in the Discord and we talk about other things other than race. We talk about a lot of things. It is a 12 hours or 24 hours race. We have a lot to think about, not just the race.
Oh yeah, I mean, I try and get myself a full night's sleep, or if I have a nighttime stint, I, shift my my sleeping patterns around, so I managed to get enough sleep there. A lot of drivers just plain old take a nap in the sim. Like Umar there, our pit lane reporter, just reporting back and saying, yeah, can confirm he likes to take a nap.
Yeah.
A lot of us do. We can't help it.
Of course, it's not like we can't be there 24 hours.
Absolutely.
No, we got a lot of things to think about.
We got work, school, sleep, food.
Yeah.
Anime shows.
There's one person that I know that can make a lot of stint without going off. It is Mika Hakimi.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely in that mold of the modern endurance racing driver, like you see at Le Mans, where you can do 6-hour driving stints or even 8-hour driving stints in the car.
Oh my god.
And yeah, the top LMP1 and LMP2 drivers, really, they will quadruple stint their tires. They'll go through, quadruple stint their fuel loads. They'll go through 4 fuel loads before they go for a driver change. And there's a good reason for that. It's often very beneficial to keep a driver in the car because he's warmed up, he knows what the car handles like. You want to keep him in the car for as long as possible. It takes time to change drivers, remember, and we've seen that right now. We've seen that Mika has actually got himself into a good position there. Iman had to change over to Kalvinder Singh there. The gap is only 5.5 seconds at the moment, but it does mean that Mika is ahead on the track.
You know, Max, when we talk about this driver change lah, endurance lah, 4 stint lah, 5 stint lah, some people doesn't understand that how amazing a person can drive a car. This is a full-on race pace.
Yeah.
Full-on race pace for 6 hours. Hey boy, you bring your car back to kampung in jam 12 hours, you complain already. 4 hours also you complain already, boy. But dude, this car, full race on 6 hours.
Meanwhile, Shami Azri is definitely not losing his will to win right now. He's battling hard with Ayman Zubair. He tried to go around the outside of Ayman Zubair there a couple of times. I think this race is getting a really very, very aggressive right now. Coming down towards the braking zone here. It looks like Shami Azri has the pace. He just hasn't had the luck throughout the course of this race because, his pace has been brilliant, but he just hasn't had the luck in traffic.
Yeah, that might be an issue. Well, in endurance race, traffic is actually a management. Umar said that earlier. Traffic is actually a management. It's not just track. Whoa.
That was last minute.
I was like, no. You're not going to pass me. And Shami Azri, there you go, behind Ayman Zubair. Ayman was making a very bold move over there just now.
That's probably the last possible second that Ayman could have used to
Shami
try and
Azri was caught off guard.
through
It's
the
like,
block.
whoosh.
Yeah.
Whoosh. If he was me, then I know what my reaction is. That was a lot of side reaction between Ayman Zubair and Shami Azri just now. The track temperature, the track temperature was actually going down to 44 Celsius right now.
Yeah, you can see the sun is slowly going down over the horizon. Meanwhile, Ayman Zubair giving us a big thumbs up there for Hyperbulls are racing right now on track. Fantastic work there from Ayman Zubair. Really driving hard and giving us a little side eye there on our driver Cam at the moment there. We're watching him battling around there, and he is still not giving up, and definitely winning all the points for entertainment this time around in on the driver Cam there. And he's still managing to defend whilst going around the TCR car around the outside, whilst giving us the waves. Brilliant stuff there from Ayman Zubair. Always entertaining to watch him, and always entertaining to watch his driving style as well. He uses a lot of steering input, but you can hear how smooth he is on the throttle. Brilliant stuff.
You know, Max, he actually loves to throw his car away.
Yeah.
You can see that the driving skills that he used. He was like, throw it, when, bam, then catch it back.
Well, yeah, that is the main thing. You can throw the car away, but you got to catch it back. That's the main thing.
You don't throw away that. If you throw like that, no, it's gonna be hard to catch. But you can see a lot of sideways action happen when he buang that car.
Yeah,
You know,
brilliant stuff.
Malay call it buang. So in English we call it throw lah. Come on.
Throw out the back end.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ayman Zubair definitely not afraid of oversteer, and it was brilliant to actually watch him defend whilst giving the duck face, doing the wave with the hand,
He's
and
having
doing all
fun.
that sort of stuff. Yeah, and that, you know, when you enjoy your sim racing, you're prepared to put a lot more into it, and I think we see that there. Meanwhile, Han An is out there trying his best to follow a Porsche. It'll be a bit of a futile exercise, but he is still in the lead of the TCR category. He is where he needs to be. The only trouble is that James Russell is also where he needs to be in the championship hunt. This has gotten very interesting indeed because, like I said, Han An, where he needs to be. James Russell, he's in a difficult situation. He's still trying to close up to Sharon Norafudin. He's only half a second behind him. If he can close up and overtake, that would be brilliant for him. But if he does get into any sort of issue,
He's
as
going
he comes
in. He's going in.
He's going to go in. He's going to try and go around the inside there, but a little bit too tight of a line there, not quite able to make it work. And Sharil Norafudin, very intelligent driver, he keeps the car on the outside to try and keep the speed up in order to exit the corner there. But like I was saying, if these two drivers get tangled up, it could get very difficult for James in terms of the championship hunt. So he's definitely driving a little bit more circumspectly, but definitely with one eye on the championship and one eye on perhaps trying to do as well as he can in this race. And there is a very, very quick white Porsche behind him. I believe that is Taki.
Yeah, well, Max, James Russell caught up with Sharin Rafudin. If he can't get past Sharin Rafudin, that might be a very big advantage to Han An. And his between Sharin Rafudin and Han An gap is getting way big. Now it stands second behind. So James Russell need to do something. He has 1 hour left in this race.
Race control reports that car 669 braked late, went on the inside to avoid collision, lost control, went back in and hit car 64. 3 penalty points and drive-through for car 669. Perhaps not the luckiest number on the racetrack. Shami Azri, that'll be a drive-through penalty for him. Again, just not having the luck right now. He's in this brilliant battle between himself and Ayman Zubair. It'll be a shame to break it up, but the rules are the rules, and he'll have to head into the pits fairly shortly.
Wow, he might be behind Nevsky Chin if he go to the to serve that drive-through penalty. But well, the rules are the rules. The rules is the rules. Okay,
Something like that.
Yeah, I muffled a lot. So it's Shami Azri 2 seconds behind between him and Ayman Zubair. He trying to make a move. Wow, he managed to do it.
What a move there indeed. Meanwhile, James Russell is right behind Sharil Norafudin, and he's just got one car past him. I believe that was Mika Hakimi sliding the car around the outside there. He's got to be thinking about when he has to do that second pit stop, and does he need to change drivers? That's going to be the key thing there. Ayman Zubair, they're definitely in a interesting predicament there. He has lost that position to Shami Azri, and now he's got a lot of pressure there from Nevsky Chin. They're going to go side by side and sideways coming into the braking zone here, and Ayman Zubair throws the car out towards the outside there. Nevsky Chin tries to go in on the inside, hard around the corner there. Brilliant maneuver there from Ayman Zubair, but Nevsky throws it up on the inside there. They're going to go side by side coming down towards Sunset Bend. This will be absolutely insane if he could try and pull that off from that far away. Hard on the brakes there, and it looks like Nevsky might have the inside line, but Ayman's going to throw it as hard as he can into the corner there. He misses the apex, but it doesn't matter. He's got the speed, and he manages to head on out. Meanwhile, Shami Azri heads into the pits there, and he serves his drive-through penalty. But now Ayman Zubair has, and Nevsky Chin, that's going to be the interesting little trick there. Let's have a look at the overtaking maneuver between Shami Azri and Ayman Zubair. He was desperate to get the car ahead, even if it was a bit of a Pyrrhic victory. It didn't matter. He just wanted to get around him, and he managed to get it around the outside of the corner there. Unbelievable maneuver there.
They were playing sideways together, Max.
Yeah.
That was like a tandem drift right now. But, you know, Shami Azri just took the speed away from Ayman Zubair just now. And Nevsky Chin, he just to take that advantage. He just there to come and take that advantage. He just could take Sayu there.
Yeah, and it looks like Ayman Zubair has managed to get himself at the 5th place, but Nevsky Chin has dropped down to 7th. So they were fighting with each other. I'm not too sure what happened there. That Shami Azri will be able to come into and out of the pits and split the two of them. So not too sure what happened there. Perhaps Nevsky ran a little bit wide on one of the corners, I would suggest.
That was so unfortunate of him also. We got... I think I see that Nevsky Chin crash.
Ah, so he must have gone off the track there. We'll probably see a replay of the incident fairly soon, as soon as they dig out the relevant videotape from the arc, from the bag, from the cameraman out there as well. So that means Shami Azri has actually managed to get himself back into the same position despite that. Let's have a look at Nevsky Chin. He was battling, lost a little bit of pace there. Through that battle and just got the car sideways there. And
that was actually fortunate.
Yeah, he lost quite a bit of time there coming up towards the pit lane entry, I believe, or on the way on the final sector at least.
Well, Max, that was actually a really fortunate for him. If he was a bit faster, he might crash the barrier. That stop just saved him there. But the gap between him and Shami Azri is not that far behind. He is only... Now Taki is taking the pit. Like we said earlier.
Finally, so Taki's gone into the pits. It was a quick pit stop there. He's been in and out of the pits very quickly indeed. And this might prove to be ideal. I think he must have changed his tyres now as well as his fuel. He would have to, I think, at this point. This late on in the race. Shami Azri just managing to sneak out ahead of Taki, and it's going to be critical, I think, for Taki to get past Shami Azri. Shami's on old tyres, he's on a light fuel load. Unless Shami is that much quicker than Taki, he's definitely going to have to look for a way past.
But Taki still have a cold tyre, so it's really hard for him to get past Shami Azri right now. He can't make any risky move due to that tyre slipperiness and so on. Slipperiness. Oh, I just... Okay.
We know what you mean.
Yeah. As long as you got what I mean, and that's cool for me. Well, that's what conversation is, okay? Now Ayman Zubair is still getting away from... Who's behind him? It's actually Nevsky Chin, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's Nevsky Chin behind him. But I believe Nevsky is a lap down at this point. I'm not too sure. We'll have a look at the... We'll have to look at the laps. Meanwhile, race control, car 64 was 4 laps down. It should not make the unsafe maneuver on car number 4. 3 penalty points and drive through for car 64. So that was Jay Wong when he had his suspension issues there just afterwards. But there you can see there Ayman Zubair going behind Nevsky Chin on track. I believe Nevsky might be a lap down.
Yeah, that blue mark over there was actually 1 lap under.
So the blue, the names in blue are the cars that have been lapped. So Ayman Zubair there battling with Nevsky Chin. I believe Nevsky will just be seeing if he can get himself anywhere close to the lead of the race so he can unlap himself. He's got the pace. He's definitely harrying Ayman Zubair along quite a bit there. Of course, in endurance, big sideways moment there, and it looks like Nevsky almost ran into the back of Ayman Zubair there. Brilliantly held slide there from Ayman. Like you were saying there, he likes to throw that back end around, and it almost bit him going through there. But Ayman Zubair, he is in 4th position at the moment, and definitely looks like he might have a little bit of a grip issue.
Yeah, well, Ayman Zubair right now, like I told you earlier, he loves to throw his car. But the problem with that is, when you throw your car too much, you will have that tire issue.
It's definitely a high-risk driving style, that's for sure.
But it is really fun.
Yeah.
I know that for sure. It is fun to throw your car. But in endurance race, that might not be the best to do. But if you want to have fun, this is the time.
Well, yeah, you might as well have a go at it. He's doing very well for himself in 4th position, and he's battling with Nevsky Chin quite hard there, although I think both drivers know that they are effectively in 2 different races at this point. Meanwhile, James Russell has really closed up to the back of Sharon Rorafoot 2/10 of a second there. That's drafting distance right now between those 2 drivers. He's been attacking Sharon Rorafoot for quite some time here. Let's see if James could do anything here. James Russell tries to go on the inside, and Simon Sanchez tries to lap them on the inside. Still 3 wide going into Sunset Bend. That was a cheeky maneuver there from Simon Sanchez to get past there, and James Russell just using a little bit of that gap that was created by the Porsche to move himself up into 11th place overall and 2nd in class behind Han An. This will be critical for his chances in the championship. If they finish like this, I believe James Russell will be champion.
Yeah, Max, that might be the best for James Russell, because we know that he got 12 point behind. Han An got 12 point behind James Russell, so Han An need to finish first, and James Russell have to finish 12th to secure his position in the championship. Right now, Sharon Rafudin, that was actually a good move by James Russell. He managed to hold on to the line that blocked Sharon Rafudin just now, and that was a really good move.
Oh, brilliant stuff there from car number 20, managing to find their way around. Find their way around there. That's Ayman Zubair still being as spectacular as ever. I don't think he could tread the needle any closer than that, do you think?
He just put in the show, Max. That was a good showmanship.
He's probably sat there going, I know I'm not going to win the race. I'm not going to be able to lose it as well because I'm too far ahead of the guy behind as well. So, well, let's have a bit of fun. And it's nice to see there's always showmen out there. And I think Ayman Zubair definitely the most entertaining driver of the day.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. If we can get the entertainment award, he might have that.
Oh, he'll have it easy.
James Russell now on the mission to get to Han An, 10 seconds behind. He got less than 30 minutes left. No. It like 31 minutes? Wow, it's hard to do math when you are watching a race.
We regret to inform you that in the studio we've lost our abacus. So unfortunately we can't quite work it out there for you. We'll probably be able to get the graphic up in a few moments' time there, but it's definitely coming close to an hour to go, and it will be very difficult to try and do anything from there. 10 seconds, it is possible, especially if there's a mistake by Han An later on around the lap there. They're both, I believe, going solo for the entirety of the race, so one more pit stop between them. There could be a possibility that James might stay on these set of tires and just take fuel.
Yes. Han An, I'll bet that Han An won't go to the pit again. He just need that one. He just need that one pit stop.
Yeah, he might be able to do it all the way to the end, but he would lose a lot of time if he did. Because of course pace is important as well. When it comes to these, that's the difficulty in endurance racing. Do you try and save a pit stop? If you're losing too much time, it can get very difficult to work it out. James, I believe he will have to head into the pits. I'm not too sure about Sharon Funin. He might be a little bit short in comparison to Hanan's pit stop.
Yeah, I would agree with Max regarding that. That the pace that you lose when you don't go to pit. If it is like 20 minutes left, and it's workable.
Yeah.
You know? And you can just hit on that tires. We got no issue on that. But we are talking about more than 30 minutes left here. So
it's an awkward...
it's like 40 minutes.
Yeah. It's an awkward distance between now and the end of the race to work this out. And I think both James and Han are sitting there in the cars with their abacuses trying to calculate this as well. But in any case, what I can say is if they are in these two positions, I believe that James would take the championship. So for James, definitely his target now in the race, he has to think about going in second. That looks like the target for him, unless Han has to go into the pits. If it's that one of those heartbreaking last-minute pit stops, a splash and dash, 5 litres just to get to the end, that would be super painful. So I think Hanan would be looking at his fuel consumption figures at the
A
moment.
flash and dash right now won't work for Han An, Max. It won't work.
If he is going to do a splash and dash, he will wait until the last possible moment before he puts that fuel in, because he will be glued to his fuel readout right now, seeing how much fuel he's using, what his fuel consumption is like.
Now Han An has become Mika Hakimi. He playing chess right now with his calculation. And okay, you need to remember, this is a solo driver. They don't have any race engineer behind them to calculate every single thing for them. For us, when we race on endurance race, we have one race engineer, especially to
Work
do
this
this calculation out for us. You know, if we don't have any race engineer, we have that teammates behind to tell us, okay, you need to go in now, and then this is your fuel rate, and then no, we have someone to talk about that to us. But if we are doing solos, I don't think we have that that what we call that best of teamwork.
Yeah, I mean the secret is the team manager can play a huge role in this sort of racing, and with a professional endurance racing team, the team manager always has control over the car. So if the team manager says pit, you pit, and you can't really override what he says, because he's outside the car. He's got the calculations. He's got the Excel file on the computer. He's got the piece of paper.
Him. He got all the data.
Yeah,
You got only the pace.
Yeah, so that it can be difficult for some drivers to let go of that amount of control that you have in a sprint race for deciding pit stops and things like that. But at the same time, it's a hugely important tool, because you can communicate with each other and you can talk to him and you can go, hey, the car's losing it, I don't have the grip, I need some help here, or hey, I can make it to the end, it's okay. And based on that information, the driver will be able to sort it all out.
Yeah, Max, just a change of temperature will change your tire setting.
Yeah, and I think this will be the big thing in this race. It was super hot, which is why James came in early. But now the tire temperatures, the track temperature has gone down. Maybe that might not have been the best idea. One person that might know quite more about this drop in track temperature and how that's going to affect the end of this race is our pit lane correspondent Omar Aziz, who is out there on the pit wall with his eye on the prize and his hand on the pulse right now. Let's see if we could go live over to Omar Aziz, our pit lane reporter. So there you go, Omar.
Hey guys.
Just a little bit of a delay on our end, no worries.
Yeah,
but we noticed that the track temperature is going down, and that appears to be changing a lot of the team strategies around there. Do you have any idea what, especially with the battle with Hanan and James Russell, what that's going to bring?
What I saw with the tires, Taki, he might have done a double stint on his tires, but I think it's not paying off. He's falling down the field, maybe not getting in the right focus, not in the right flow. Between James and Han, I think if James gets the car back into the end without Sharil doing anything to him, I think he's taking the championship for the M series.
Yeah, absolutely. But we can see all throughout with Kavinder Singh, Simon Sanchez doing quite well at this point of the race there. But it does appear that all the data that the teams had when the track temperature was up at 50 degrees Celsius, it's all changed. So I think, do you think that the teams out there that have someone on the pit wall, a team manager or a teammate, trying to work this out for them, do you think they have an advantage?
Yeah, usually these guys have very sophisticated software to calculate fuel, not really tires, but calculate fuel, how much fuel they need, how do they have to pit once or twice, especially for the GT3 series. Yeah, but I can see Mika and Kelvinder, they are getting comfortable on the track. The track seems to be gripped in. We'll see at the end of the race once the track gets a little bit more dirty, a little bit more rubber. Yeah.
So it seems like Kelvinder Singh has done a great job holding to that position. You know that they are actually fighting between him and Shami Azri right now, are fighting for championship position. So will he get a change to Iman Danish again, or do you think that he will keep that drive alone for him?
I think Iman's going to come back in. and try put his foot down and try to get a little bit more closer to the front guys. But yeah, we'll have to see. With my notes, sad to see Shami Azri and Jay Wong. What happened? Yeah, things happen in racing, and it wasn't a good one there.
Yes.
Yeah. That the jump back was not good. We know that how hard it hits Jay Wong just now. So well, you are in the pit lane, so you know how hard the damage on Jay caused just now, right?
Yeah, I think in the beginning he had a big shunt in the right side. I think he did only the required repairs, so his suspension isn't the best, but he's trying to bring the car home. That's good.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to endurance racing, of course, everyone's talking about winning the race, but you know, you've seen all the guys there working hard, even when it seems like it's a completely hopeless situation to try and get the car back out on track. But I guess finishing for these guys really is also another battle that's worthwhile.
Yep. But I would love to see these guys doing multi-class race for the whole season. It's been quite an awesome race in the beginning, and I guess we'll see after the pit stop. It might be coming in a bit, I think.
Yeah, do you have any ideas on the pit stop? Do you think some of the drivers who've seen the guys who double stinted early on in the race, do you think they're going to switch from changing tires to not changing tires?
Yeah, I talked to the few of these guys, and they said Sebring, it's not that hard if you can manage your tires. It's not that hard to do a double stint. Some of them might. Yeah, but I would like to say the TCR cars, I think they have some sort of eco boost.
They're definitely driving the cars on eco mode right now.
Yeah, they're using their tanks like not using a lot of fuel.
You know, we can see a lot of action that coming towards AM class or the TCR car or even the Porsche car. I bet a lot of these racers actually loving Sebring.
Yeah, it's one of the staple tracks for iRacing actually. If you're in GT3, TCR, sometimes F3, they love this track, especially on iRacing.
You are a bit biased, ma.
Yeah lah, bias lah.
Because you love Sebrings, and we know that. We know that fact.
I kind of like Sebring as well, actually, to be fair.
It's not bad. The bumps are good.
Yeah.
But you really,
No, the bumps are not good. It's bumpy all over the place, bro.
yeah, but you really need a good setup, especially for endurance racing. You're
Yeah.
you're out there. How many laps is it already?
We're on
I
lap
lost count.
57. at the
Lap
moment.
57.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of laps around. So you need a very good setup. Something you can just get the flow, get the Muka racing on. Yeah.
The Muka racing on.
Yeah.
We're gonna be raced up to I think 67 or 68 laps at least.
Yeah.
So they got like 10 laps to go, and Calvin Singh has beat it.
Yeah, he's gone into the pits. It looks like a very quick pit stop there. Did you see?
Yeah.
Is he still in the car there? I think he's still in the car.
Yeah, I don't think he's double stinting their tires. We'll see if they change or not.
Yeah, it looks like he's gone in and out very quickly there. I think it was just a fuel stop there.
Oh, so maybe he is double stinting.
Brilliant. That's going to be a nice little challenge there for Kavinder Singh to get that car to the end of the race.
Yeah.
I understand there was a backup plan for Mika Hakimi. Do you think they're going to change over, or do you think it's going to still be Mika?
I talked to them. I think one of his can we get the who is his teammate?
Ayman Haziq actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he might be coming in for just a little bit. Maybe when the next time he pits. Yeah, just to end it off. We don't have the data for James and Han An's pits. So for the TCR cars, we don't have a lot of data for this endurance race. So we'll see where they end up.
Absolutely. Mika Hakimi's just gone into the pits as well. And I think we've got a better look from our position on the leaderboard there. And just looking there, I think, well, we're not too sure if he's in the pit lane for a fair while. I think he might have to change drivers right now. We'll leave you to it. We'll see if you can rush over there and have a chat with Mika if he comes back out of the pits. But thanks a lot for chatting with us.
Nice chat, guys. Enjoy the race.
And there you go there. We've had Umar Aziz running up and down the pit lane and working up a real sweat there. He's got to carry that camera as well.
Yeah, he really running up and down the pit lane right now. There you go, Ayman Haziq change to Mika Hakimi changed to Ayman Haziq for the last the last sector of the race. The last section.
stint.
Yeah, the last stint of the race. Oh my god.
So
lost my
that
word
would mean
there.
that Ayman Hazik will claim the same points if he finishes the race. He will claim the same points as Mika Hakimi, effectively giving him the joint win in the race. So that was a good team play there for Mika Hakimi. I guess he wanted to have let Ayman have that 25 points there. We'll look on board there with Ayman Hazik looking very comfortable in that SSC West bucket seat. And just doing his usual cruise around. Well, he always looks like he's cruising around, even if he's in the lead of the race.
He always look like that.
But he is in a good position to actually try and bring that car home. Healthy lead. It'll be very interesting. Very interesting field out there.
The gap between him and Calvin Singh is not that far behind Max. Calvin Singh is 7 seconds behind. That was actually a pretty, not a really big gap, I would say, because Ayman Hazik, he just come into the track and he need to feel the track first.
Yeah.
He need to feel the car, because all the while, Mika Hakimi has been driving this car, and Mika Hakimi has got this car feels and physics and so on. But Ayman Hazik, he just came in, and you know how hard it is.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that you have to say there, like Omar just reporting back, speaking to the Blue Steel Racing mechanics, and they were saying that the strategy to go for is to just let Ayman drive the car for 3 or 4 laps to get a feel for it and to feel the car through before starting to push. But of course, he's got to keep one eye on the prize there, and that's Kavinder Singh behind it. So you can see that the track is already a bit dark in some sections as well. That was the other note from the BSR team.
It's 2.4 hours race. It's actually a 24 hours speed.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Okay. But this is, I don't think this is a 24 hours still.
I believe it's stretched over 6 hours in time progression right now. But yeah, that's going to be the trick for Ayman Hazik, because even when the car's being driven perfectly, different parts of the car wear out at different rates. Even suspension units and wheel bearings and brake pads wear out differently throughout the corner. It's going to feel a bit awkward when you drive a car that's been raced for 6, 7, 8 hours, or even just 2 hours like we've seen here. And in fact, 2 hours have indeed passed. 24 minutes left in this 2.4 hour race, and let's have a quick look at the standings. Ayman Hazik is in first place with Kelvinder Singh in second. Muhammad Taki is in third. Chami Azri in fourth. Ayman Zubair in fifth. Simon Sanchez in sixth. Having a really sketchy overtake there of a TCR car. Kelvinder Singh is in seventh, followed by Nevsky Chin, and Jay Wong in ninth, the last of the leading group of Porsche drivers.
There you go. And for the AM class, we got Han An on the first place, James Russell on the second, Sharin Rafuddin on the third, Zainul Hazim on the fourth, Wan Li Q and Wan Li Kui, and Leong Moon Fai is actually on the fifth and on the sixth place. So right now, Max, we can see that the gap between Ayman Hazik and Kelvinder Singh is actually getting closer and closer now, with 5 second gap behind. Kelvinder Singh managed to shave up around 2 seconds just now.
You can see that Ayman Hazik, his outlap was a 2:07, and with Kelvinder Singh already up to speed, he's doing 2:01.91 was his last lap time. He was absolutely flying around there. He's only 2/10 off the race lap record right now, so he's really pushing hard at the moment. That was the previous lap to the one we're watching right now, and Kelvinder Singh there, he's pushing that car as hard as it'll go, going around the track there, and brilliant stuff indeed. He has to do what he can on hot tires and on a lighter fuel load to try and bridge that gap to Ayman Hazik, but you can see Ayman's already starting to pick up the pace. It's 2:03.1. He'll be thinking of trying to do a 2:02 the next lap and just put the hammer down now, I think. And that 3 or 4 laps of trying to get the feel of the car has gone out the window a little bit.
Yeah, we hope that, because we can see that in front of Ayman there on the map, we can see that that is a third place, which is Sharin Rafuddin and James Russell. Second and third place on the AM class is actually a traffic in front of Ayman Hazik. and well, he need to get past them, and they are actually fighting for position right now.
Absolutely, he's got to get past him. He's got to get past him quicker than Kelvinder Singh can, because it's 4.8 seconds the gap between these two drivers, and it's getting closer and closer. So now Ayman, the only way he can buy more time to try and learn the car is to get past these two cars very, very quickly and very efficiently, and without losing a single tenth of a second. And that's going to be very difficult around this track, because as you can see, it's very difficult to try and go and try and pass these guys. But he's going to go for it. He's going to try and go around Sharon Nurufuddin and try to not lose too much time there. He goes around the outside of James Russell. I think he did a great job dealing with that bit of traffic, and he's managed to keep himself with a relatively clean Porsche coming out of there. That's going to be the critical part. The track temperature now 38 degrees Celsius. It's dropping quite quickly now, so the cars, not only are they going to be feeling tired and worn out, but the track temperatures dropped to a point where I think some tires are going to start coming back and some tires are going to start losing temperature.
Yeah, that's going to be a big hit and a big issue for all these races. And now Kelvinder Singh is trying to get past these two races, which is fighting for position. It is Sharon Nurufuddin and James Russell there, and Kelvinder Singh straight out of something.
Yep, he just about minimized the time loss there. There was a little bit of time loss around there, but I don't think it's too bad for him. And he's actually managed to come out with a 3.8 second gap. So this is going to be for the race win here. No more pit stops, no more offset strategies, none of that. It's all down to the pace right now. It's down to whether Ayman Haziq can turn on the afterburners as quickly as possible. Kelvinder Singh, we know how good he is in an endurance racing setup. Even with a worn out car, he can really put the laps in, and that's going to be critical. He's going to push that car as fast as he would in a sprint race, and Ayman's just going to have to try and respond here.
Yeah, Max, there is no more hanky-panky going on here. It is a full-on straight sprint race right now between Kelvinder Singh and Ayman Haziq. And we know Kelvinder Singh and Ayman Haziq has been fighting for position for quite a while. And we know that Ayman Haziq is a really good defensive driver.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelvinder, he is a really good, calm and collected kind of driver.
That's going to be the secret here. It's a battle between Ayman Haziq and Kelvinder Singh at the front of the field. Meanwhile, Jay Wong has gone back into the pits there, perhaps just to try and do a little bit of top-up repairs to keep that car going. He's done a great job actually keeping the car in the race. He's only 3 laps down, which sounds like a lot in a sprint race, but this is a 2.4 hour late.
This is an endurance race.
Yep. It's
3 laps behind is actually quite a good gap.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, in a sprint race, 3 laps down, you park it, you're done. But 3 laps in an endurance race is nothing, considering the amount of drama he's been throughout the entire race.
You just imagine that 3 lap behind is actually around 2% or 5. I think it's 5% of the race.
Yeah,
It's 5%, bro. It's not like the whole 15%.
absolutely.
Or 50% at least.
So there you see James Russell managing to keep Sharon Nurufuddin behind him. Again, critical for the championship. All 3 teams in first, second and third place, all driving for different teams there, so there's nothing to stop them from fighting for each other, just for a bit of glory there. And Sharon Nurufuddin wouldn't really care too much about the championship. He wants that second place harder than James Russell would. I'm pretty sure of that. But James is in a good position for the championship. All he has to do is just keep his foot down and keep that Hyundai pointing in the right direction.
Now, what actually happened between Kelvinder Singh, Iman Danish and Ayman Haziq, they was actually fighting for the position for the second and third position of this championship, and this gonna be a big hit. We know that Mika Hakimi, well, basically he secured his place there, but Ayman Haziq, he still has a chance to gain a big position with his championship point right now.
Yeah. That, I think, was the reason why they made the decision to pull Mika out of the car and put Ayman into the car to try and improve Ayman's positions in the championship and get BSR a better position in the championship. First and fifth is all right, but first and third is going to sound a lot better.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And if Kavinder Singh managed to pull this over, Iman Danish might have a chance to get the third place. And this is going to be a big hit for Shami Azzi. Well, it is a really unfortunate race for him, and he has been struggled a lot in this race actually.
Absolutely. A quarter of an hour left, 16 minutes left in the race right now, and it's all go time for James Russell and his championship chances, as well as the race win so far. Ayman Haziq still in the lead there, but it's a 203.38 that last lap. 202.61 on that last lap, and Kelvinder Singh 201.71. And I believe that is very close to the fastest lap of the race there. Only just under a second below the fastest lap of the race. And you have to understand, whoa, very close stuff indeed. And that's caused Shahril Norafuddin to get really close to the back of James Russell. He's going to have to really work hard to try and keep his position there with that Porsche, that quicker Porsche, trying to go around in between them. But Shahril Norafuddin's going to try and hang it around the outside. James brakes as hard as he possibly can, manages to keep that position. Very, very tense moments there at the head, near the head of the AM pack, with these two TCR cars driving tooth and nail. And again, these drivers would be thinking more about the race positions, I think, than the championship positions. But one driver who would be thinking about the championship there, James Russell, he's not going to back down from this, I don't think.
Yeah, Max. Kelvinder Singh is now 1.5 seconds behind Ayman Haziq. This is going to be a battle of the race tonight. So, wait,
Indeed.
we have been racing for 2 hours and it is full action. Full of action.
Absolutely. After 2 hours there, we've got 1.3 seconds, the gap between Ayman Haziq and Kelvinder Singh. Of course, Kelvinder knows this better than anyone else, but it bears repeating. It's one thing catching Ayman Haziq, it's another thing entirely to try and overtake him. Ayman Haziq, probably one of the best defenders out there, and he's using that traffic right now ahead of him to his advantage. He'll be thinking about every single possible gap he can. Kelvinder Singh trying to get as much slipstream out of any of these drivers that he can find there, diving out underneath that rear wing of that car of Jeffrey Cons, going through the corner there. It's 1.2 seconds and closing fast right now. The pace difference between Kelvinder Singh and Ayman Haziq very, very big right now as they're pushing their way around the track here. This is going to be critical for that second and third place in the championship for Iman Danish, and for Ayman Haziq it will be really critical if he can keep that car in the lead for his chances to get into the top three there.
Well, Max, we see a lot of action happen going on here and there, but now between Kelvinder Singh and Ayman Haziq, this has been a brilliant save by Kelvinder Singh actually. And you know, it's 2 hours and 11 minutes has been passed on this race. Oh, this is unfortunate for Kelvinder. This might take him a little bit late in terms of catching up to Ayman Haziq. He has less than 15 minutes left, Max.
Yeah, but you can see there that Ayman's thrown every single TCR he can at Kelvinder Singh to try and slow him down there. Brilliant bit of endurance racing from Ayman Haziq. He's pretty good with that sort of stuff there, and he's used the traffic ahead of him to his advantage. He's just throwing as many rolling chicanes as he can at Kelvinder Singh, but Kelvinder's been around the block quite a bit as well, and he'll be thinking about how to counteract those moves. The traffic becomes a weapon with these drivers as they're battling for the lead of the race.
One thing that we know about Kelvinder and Ayman Haziq is a very defensive kind of driver, but Kelvinder, he really loves to take a risky move when he got a chance or he got a very strategic plan how to get past someone. But that will happen if he managed to get a glimpse of a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. 1.4 seconds now the gap between Ayman Haziq and Kelvinder Singh. He's managed to pull out a little bit of a gap thanks to that traffic that he's come across now. Now this guy is going to be begging for any more TCR cars. There's only one up ahead that he could possibly use. 2 hours and 30 minutes have passed in this 2 hours and 25 minute race. That's what, 12 minutes left?
Yeah, 12. Confirm 12 minutes left.
Yeah.
Confirm. Well, it's 2 hours race and we don't feel like 2 hours, Max.
No, it feels like a 15-minute race, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
There should be
exactly.
6 laps left, or 5 laps left, roughly around there in the race. There, Ayman Hazik trying to get that TCR car in between there, but I think the Hyperbull TCR driver will be looking in his mirrors for a Hyperbull GT3 driver, and that has actually gained Kelvinder some time there. But still, round 1 second to go. This could get nuclear very, very shortly. This is absolutely edge of the seat stuff. Ayman Hazik trying to coax that Porsche around as fast as possible, but it just doesn't have the pace. And right now trying to push that car along as hard as possible. Meanwhile, James Russell has to really look after Shahril Norafuddin behind him. Shahril can really ruin James Russell's chances of the championship right now as he comes up through the field here. Hard on the brakes there. They are very close together. Shahril has the pace, I think, to try and go past him. But again, James Russell, not an easy person to overtake, especially when he's a man on a mission.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that, Max. And Shahril Norafuddin has done a fantastic job just getting into the same pace as James Russell. And he has been fighting James for quite some times right now. And he managed to overtake a few times. But then James Russell, like Max say, a man on a mission, he doesn't quit there. He push all the way up to second place right now. And he need to sit there and be there until the end of the race.
Absolutely. We haven't done any mathematical calculations to check if James Russell will still hold the championship if he's gone past Shahril Norafuddin, but at the same time, very, very difficult stuff indeed to just look at this. James wants to. He needs to be in second. He really desperately has to be in second.
He has to be there.
Regardless of what the championship position is like, you can tell he really wants to keep that second place position. Right now, Kelvinder Singh is right on the tail end of Ayman Hazik. This is for the overall race lead right now, and it looks like Ayman's got a big problem right there. Kelvinder gets a little bit sideways on the brakes, trying to have a look on the inside of Ayman Hazik. Not quite able to do it here. When is the move going to come? 10 minutes left in the race, 9 minutes left in the race, in fact, as they go around these sweepers here towards the top end of the circuit here. Some challenging corners coming up ahead before a long acceleration zone coming up out of here. Very, very difficult to try and see which way is it going to go. Where is he going to make the move? Look at the pace that Kelvinder has on those S's there. Ayman Hazik might be able to hold him off on the straights, but through those S's, Kelvinder is absolutely majestic coming through this here. There is a overtaking opportunity up ahead here into this braking zone, and then there's another one coming up towards the sunset bend. Will this bend determine the outcome of the race?
Wow, Max, Kelvinder really pushed that car really hard. You can see there's a lot of jump action there in towards the curb of that S's just now, and he managed to nail every single thing. And now Kelvinder, he trying to make a move, I think, here right now. Is he going in? Oh, that was a good exit by Kelvinder. Well, Ayman Hazik. That is Ayman Hazik. He managed to pull Kelvinder into his seat
Just put the car in a position where Kelvinder couldn't overtake it even if he was in a Formula 1 car. Brilliant bit of driving, very, very subtle stuff indeed. Meanwhile, it's gone nuclear down at the front of the TCR field. They are going at it hammer and tongs, and Shahril Norafuddin has managed to make that overtaking maneuver work and drop James Russell down into third position. Unbelievable stuff there between those two drivers, and it looks like Shahril has been unleashed. Look at the acceleration he's had coming out of the corner there. I think he's got absolutely perfect tires, and a brilliant amount of pace there coming through. Meanwhile, Ayman Haziq is under a lot of pressure there from Kelvinder Singh. Very, very sideways now. They've gone side by side now, coming into the braking zone there. Can Ayman Haziq do anything here? They touch! And it sends Kelvinder out wide. They're still side by side going through the S's here. They touch again, it looks like. And now it looks like Ayman Haziq throws the car in towards the curb there, and it just forces Kelvinder Singh out there. Unbelievable driving there from Ayman Haziq and Kelvinder Singh. That was as close as you can get, and I think there was some contact there. They are racing these Porsches like they are touring cars. Absolutely brilliant stuff there from the two drivers. 0.3 of a second they're coming up. There's one more corner up ahead to try and make that move work. If Ayman Haziq can defend through there, he could try and do something through the first sector, but it's in slipstream zone right now. It's less than 0.3 of a second, less than a blink of an eye between these two cars, and you can see that Kelvinder's got the draft coming up through there. And brilliant move there from Ayman Haziq to just close off that gap on the inside. He shut the door hard in Kelvinder's face. Unbelievable driving there from Ayman Haziq, but again, they're still so close to each other. There's still a chance to try and catch up. And meanwhile, Muhammad Taki getting closer and closer to the front. Where did he come from?
Taki has done Taki job.
Again, brilliant bit of strategy, and that's what got Taki into that position now. If these two drivers crash or end up slowing each other down dramatically, this 2-horse battle for the lead might just be a steal from Taki towards the end of the race. There's not enough laps left to do anything else right now. Taki was 5 seconds behind these two drivers there. Looks like Kelvinder Singh's going to try and go around the outside again. Ayman Haziq throws it up on the inside to try and defend, and it looks like Kelvinder just running a little bit wide through there, but he's straightened up that exit on that S's to try and get as much acceleration as he can out of the Porsche there. And look at that, Ayman Haziq, he's not driving with the front windscreen, he's driving with the rear windscreen and the rear view mirror. Brilliant bit of defending there to try and block off any avenue of attack from Kelvinder Singh. He's going to have to do it on the draft there. He's so close to the back of that Porsche, you could just about read the serial number on the exhaust tips there as he goes around this right-hander there. Brilliant stuff there from Ayman Haziq. They have been battling for the last 2 laps side by side. This is brilliant stuff here. Kelvinder Singh tries to go around the outside of the bends here. Ayman Haziq just about managing to defend it. This must be the best bit of defending I've seen in a long time. Brilliant stuff indeed. And again, Ayman Haziq managing to just cover off on that penultimate corner and just give himself that half a second gap to try and cover off Kelvinder Singh for the next 2 corners.
That's a lot of wow from me. Wow. That was a really good defensive by Ayman Haziq. Well, he deserves the best defensive move over the past round, over the past championship, But that was really good, and we actually have 2 laps left, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a 2-lap race to the end here. Ayman Haziq has to defend for 2 more laps. He did it for the last 2. All bets are off as to whether he could do it for the next 2. Of course, Kelvinder Singh is putting a lot of pressure on that driver. Ayman Haziq tries to do the best he can, but unable to do so. James Russell still trying to find a way past Shahril Norafuddin. He wants to be in second. He wants to make sure that that's got... he's got the ability to try and overtake him. He wants to be in second place in order to secure that championship properly. It looks like it's going to be 0.4 of a second between these 2 drivers there. Brilliant stuff indeed between Shahril Norafuddin and James Russell. Brilliant move from Shahril to try and overtake our championship leader, but James Russell ain't gonna take that lying down. He's pushing that car hard. He's using different racing lines through the corners, anything he can to try and catch back up to Shahril Norafuddin, and I think there's going to be a big braking zone up ahead there for these 2 drivers. That's going to be where it gets sorted out.
This is also a fight for well, Max, we have seen a lot of fight for championship point right now between Shahril Norafuddin and James Russell and Han An, and Kelvinder Singh and Ayman Haziq also fighting for championship point. And we know if Shahril Norafuddin win this round, Han An will go up to first place, and James Russell might end on the 3rd place at least. No, on the 2nd place. Yeah, on second place. He
No,
should be on second
if
place.
Hanan wins, it'll be a 10-point gap between first and third. 25 plays 15. So that
No.
could still be enough.
Yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
could still be enough, actually.
25-15.
Because the gap is 12 points
points.
between James Russell and Han An. But in any case, I don't think he's thinking about that just quietly, judging by the way he's driving. I think we're doing the math for him at this point. Jay Wong there sends the car over the dirt there, and dirt tracks the car back onto the... That's a brilliant bit of car
Boy,
control, that's
this
for
is
sure.
not really, boy. Not really. That is the GT3 car, okay?
Bhagvinder Singh there, meanwhile, getting into a little bit of trouble there. The sunset bend, very tricky. Gets the car sideways, and you just can't catch it. There's a big bump there. And just as you go underneath the bridge, you can just about see it in the camera, and he just gets the car sideways. Meanwhile, James Russell is not allowing us to take a single breath of fresh air right now, because he has got nothing between himself and Sharon Norafudin. He's pushing that Hyundai i30 there as fast as it'll go. That Elantra-based vehicle being pushed to its limits. Coming down towards the braking zone here, hard on the brakes. He is using a better line than Sharon Norafudin. They touch, I think. They are that close that not too sure if they've just given a love tap there, but the gap is only 0.3 of a second. There could be an ability to try and draft past 2 hours, 24 minutes and 30 seconds. This is the last 30 seconds of the race. But coming down towards the braking zone here, James Russell. 15 seconds left on the clock there, and look at that. The leaders of the TCR race are in with the leaders of the Pro race, and Kelvinder Singh has just been blocked by Ayman Haziq. That was a brilliant maneuver there. Ayman Haziq not only has gone and defended from Kelvinder Singh, but he's given the position to Muhammad Taki. Taki is now right behind Ayman Haziq. The clock is done. I think the checkered flag will come out at this lap. Coming around the final corner there, Ayman Haziq is in first place. Taki's managed to steal it from Kelvinder Singh. Ayman Haziq takes it home. Taki in second place and Kelvinder Singh in third. And that is a very, very relieved Mika Hakimi there that we saw there. Ayman Haziq, the biggest smile you've ever seen on a sim racer. He is sweating away there. Brilliant stuff indeed. Taki has to be the happiest person on the planet there. He did not think he was going to get second place until that particular moment. We need a replay of that because I have to rejig everything there. It was so complicated. We were so busy looking at that battle for the TCR cars. We didn't see the leaders come up and basically solve everything right the way through there. Unbelievable stuff there, and we're not even too sure who actually finished first in that battle, second in place in that battle, but you can see Ayman Haziq is absolutely overjoyed.
Wow, I was lost. Every single word that I can think of, just lost. Oh my god, that was so good. Ayman Haziq, that was a brilliant strategy that he put there.
Let's have a look at this replay here, and you can see there, we'll wind it back to this point here, where Momataki is getting closer and closer. These guys get caught up in this battle, and they can't get through. Ayman Haziq just sends it into the inside there, and Taki decides to overtake at the same time, and that gives Kelvinder Singh no option. He can't go to the left because there's a TCR car. He can't go to the right because there's a certain Mr. M. Taki in the right-hand side there, and that just gave Ayman Haziq perhaps the 2 breaths of fresh air he needed to come across the line and take home that position there. So that is Ayman Haziq across the line there. And I believe Sharon Norafudin did come in second position ahead of James Russell. James wouldn't be too happy with that, but I think because of that 12-point advantage, James might have taken the championship at 2 points.
Yeah, Max. Well, I think Kelvinder and Iman Danish is still managed to get 35 third and second place, if not mistaken. We need to recalculate that.
Yeah, Han An has taken the win of the race right now. Again, 12 points. There was a 10-point gap between Hanan and James Russell here, so I think he's lost the championship, but he's done everything he possibly can in order to try and win it. He did what he had to do, which is win the race, and I think the team has to be very happy with that. Blue Steel Racing with a fantastic run through the race. They win in the Pro category with the Porsche 911 GT3s, and they win in the AM categories with their Hyundai Elantra. Brilliant stuff there from Ayman Haziq and Mika Hakimi. Mika Hakimi did a lot of the heavy lifting at the first part of the race there, but Ayman Haziq, brilliant.
Well, with the driving style of Ayman Haziq, we know that if he come in at the last team, he will manage to defense all over the place, because you know that Ayman Haziq, he put himself all over the track just to make sure that Kavinder behind him.
Let's just have a look at these results there, but those of Blue Steel Racing takes it home from Mohammad Taki by 0.266 seconds.
that last move, I was...
Unbelievable stuff there from all of the drivers there. We'll try and get you the full results there as soon as the timing screens sort themselves out. We've been having a wonderful time with the timing screens today.
The timing screen doesn't love us. That's it. In this endurance race, the timing system is like,
of all the races that they could go.
I don't like you guys.
But we'll have a look at the timing tower, which is correct. Ayman Haziq is in first place, followed by Mohammad Taki in second, Kalvinder Singh in third position, Ayman Zubair in fourth, Shami Azri in fifth, Pakvinder Singh managing somehow to get himself up into sixth place, Nevsky Chin in seventh place, and Jay Wong in eighth, the last of the front-running Class 1 or Porsche drivers.
Well, on the AM class, we got Han An on the first place, Shani Rafuddin on the second place, James Russell on the third place, Zainul Hazim, Wan Liqui, and Leong Mumfai end up in a fourth, fifth, and sixth place. Jeffrey Con on the seventh place, and those who behind under Jeffrey Con is actually D and F.
Yep.
They didn't finish the race.
So unfortunately, Simon Sanchez was out of the race, Jay Chong's out of the race, Mohamed Alif Shauki is out of the race, Wong Jian is out of the race, and Mazni Madini is out of the race.
It's really unfortunate for Jay Chong. He done a quite good job defending himself in the first team.
He did a brilliant job to lead for that long. If it was a regular race, he would have won that sprint race. But of course, this is an endurance race and anything can happen, and it indeed has happened throughout the course of this race. What a brilliant race it has been as well. I think we'll be enjoying watching this one for quite some time.
This is 2 hours and 2.4 hours race, and Max doesn't even stop screaming all the time.
I'm going to need a new larynx before we go and do the next championship. But it's so easy to get excited and to try and bring you this fantastic racing there. We've had everyone in the studio here doing math at one point, which is something I wouldn't think we would do in a motor racing broadcast.
Okay.
But I tell you one thing though, one driver we have to say, of course, congratulations to the winner, but one driver we have to bring up is Taki. In the middle of the race, we were looking at that and going, I thought there was something wrong with the timing screen, because he can't have gone into the pits and come out again in the same place. But I think he just did not change tires, or he short-fueled the car. He did something tricky there in order to get himself up into second place. I hope we can speak to him tomorrow when the post-race show is on, because I really want to know, how did he do that?
No, we need to get Taki. Confirm we need to get Taki. That was a really brilliant move. The strategy that he used. We know that he loves doing strategies.
Yeah, and he is a master of strategy. He's up there with people like Afiq Fadlan and all the guys like that that are just brilliant tacticians.
Wow, that was really good.
But the great thing with Taki is that he's being a brilliant tactician while he's driving the race car. I can barely speak in English when I'm driving a race car, so...
Dude, I'm sweating here. You can see how sweaty I am. Oh my god.
It has been a brilliant race indeed. So in any case, that's going to be it for the championship, but it's not going to be it for us here at the Trumpet International Racing E-Series, because we have the post-season show right here live in the studio. It will be tomorrow at about 9:30 p.m. So do stay tuned for that. We're going to have a look not only at the race and have a chat with the drivers, who I think would definitely having a brilliant time of their lives out there on track. Absolutely entertaining race indeed. We'll be reviewing the race, and we'll also be giving you the results of the championship.
Yeah, Max, and we will see you again tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. In the meantime, do stick around, because there may or may not be some phantom videos coming out between now and then. So do stay tuned to that. But of course, that's going to be it for us here in the studio. Special thanks will go out to our sponsors, LamboPlace, with their 5G guarantee. You won't go wrong. Remember, you can always try that link all the way right up to the end of this broadcast for your chance. In fact, right up to 12 o'clock, which is 8 minutes from now.
Yeah.
There's maybe 3 or 4 more slots there. We'll have to check, but definitely for sure. So do stay tuned to that, and just try that link out, because you might just get lucky. So thank you there to our main sponsors, LamboPlace. Special thanks goes out to our sponsors, Stratus and Excitix. This event organized by Trumpet, Adrenaline Impact, and Vertex Esports. And special thanks to our media partners, Galeri Kereta and DS&F. Drive safe and fast.
Okay, not to forget, special thanks to our official gaming chairs, which is the Toda.
Absolutely. Very nice seats. They've looked after us all throughout this series, and they'll look after it throughout the 2022 gaming and sim racing season. So you'll see us in these chairs for quite some time to come. But
Actually, the whole year.
Yeah, basically the whole year. So in any case, that's going to be it from us. A special thanks goes out to all of the drivers, without whom we wouldn't have had this amazing bit of racing right now. And also a special thanks to all of you guys at home, without whom we would not be able to make this work. So thank you so much for your support throughout the course of the season, and hopefully we will see you tomorrow for the post-race show and in the future events. But now, from our pit lane reporter Umar Aziz, our director Carol Alang, to all of our staff behind the scenes, to Kelvin T, Javier Alvarez, to all of our stewards in the stewarding room, to all of the staff that's made this work, all the graphics designers, everything else, from Inche Budi and from myself, it's a very special thank you and a very good night. Ta-ra.
LamboPlace.